Welcome to the 50th WMMA Today podcast with Drake Riggs and I, Steve King. It's 50, Drake. It's actually more than 50, but like the comeback, it's 50.
Right. The current run, we have hit level 50, continually leveling up every week. Yeah, crazy, man. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like longer because it has been longer. But hey, 50 is always cool. It's always good to hit
Yeah,
numbers like this.
it's a good number.
Yes.
We'll have to do something massive for 100.
Oh boy, indeed. To be live on the scene, I'll have to fly down there and meet
Dude,
up with you.
that would be crazy. We'll do it like in front of Nick Diaz Academy or something.
Dude, yeah, that would be amazing if we could how they do the like the NFL shows before games, get a crowd going and everything. Not that we're that popular, but everybody in the chat, come on down to Stockton. We'll have a big celebration.
Yeah, come to Stockton and hang out.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, 50's big, man. 50's big. It's fun. It's fun.
Indeed.
Um,
Good to see Ghost here early. Makoto, good to see you again. James hopping in here early. Welcome, friends.
James actually changed his Avi. It looks like on YouTube. So we have quite a bit to talk about this week, Drake. The UFC 262 recap, a bunch of news, and then so much to preview. And then at the very end, it's your girl versus my girl.
Best for last.
Let's go. So I guess let's just get started with UFC 262.
I got one ahead of this actually because it was technically the day before. So we'll start off with one, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right, let's do one. Stamina in Cancun. What the dude?
Bragging
what are you doing in Cancun, right? You're straight up bragging. This is crazy. So yeah, B Win, who we did not see beating Ritu. Like, what the hell? She ended up winning by split decision. Come on. Yes. Waving the Kana banner, of course. Kana Army strong, as Ghost Fandom says. Let's Kana Army in the house. Let's just get it all out of the way right now.
Yes. Episode 50 needs some Kana love. That's what we should have done, is just a Kana themed episode for this entire one. But there's too much to get into. So
there's way too much to talk about today. Makoto does not know what the Kana Army is. Oh boy.
Fill him in, fellas.
Good luck, Makoto. So yeah, B win. B Ritu by split decision. Did you see that happening? Like, did you have B beating Ritu?
No, I did not. I did not expect that at all. And boy, we're going to be kicking off this show here perfectly with quite a hot topic a little bit, because I have some feelings. I got some feelings about this. First of all, let's start with the fight itself, though, before the aftermath, which is what really kind of bothers me. This was a split decision, a very close fight when it comes to the global rule set, in terms of, if this fight was in the States and judged round by round, I think it's a pretty clear Ritu win with the first two rounds.
Absolutely.
But not how we judge under this criteria. So fight was a whole lot closer, as Ritu gassed pretty hard in the third round, and
she hit a wall hard, man.
Yeah, B came out, landed plenty of good shots. Nothing insane. Like, Ritu was never hurt, but she definitely was on the receiving end.
Yeah, she got hit.
Yeah, she didn't really give anything back whatsoever.
In that last round, she was like dead almost. There was no activity out of her, really.
Right. Yeah, and then in the first two rounds, like, I don't think either of them did a whole lot of damage, but in terms of control and like who was more dominant, it was very clearly Ritu. She used her wrestling as she does, had
Yeah,
great positions. She even had
exactly.
some,
She had her up against the cage, and like,
yeah,
did she got a takedown, right?
yeah, she got her to the
She got,
ground multiple times.
yeah, she got takedowns. I mean, that's why I think that's why you and I agree that Ritu probably ended up winning. That should have won this fight.
Yeah, it's man, it's really I know it's tough. I saw a lot of people saying robbery and that kind of thing, and of course, a lot of people do think with the
It's
round by round
I
scoring
think it's the way that fights are scored in one that get people who
mixed
don't
up.
watch one regularly. It kind of it kind of fucks with them, you know. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, we're clearly you and I are talking about round by round right now. Even you
I
and
mean,
I are talking
you
about.
just kind of have to break down a fight that way because it has rounds, you know.
Well,
But
yeah, but as far as like the judging and stuff, that's not how it's the whole fight, the entire
right,
fight, all in one.
yeah. So in a way, this fight a little bit reminds me of I compare it to Boss Rutan and Kevin Randleman, which of course is an infamous decision a bit, and that fight was no rounds in that fight, so it was scored as a whole. But
Yeah,
the kind of that fight was positional dominance versus damage from the bottom for Boss. Which if you go back and watch that fight, like the first half of it, it's pretty much Randleman all the way. He's dominating and he is doing damage too. But then after that, he kind of stops and he's just holding position, and then Boss does his damage. And then at some point, they get up towards or no, they go to an overtime round, I think, right? Something like
they
that
went to
happened.
overtime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't seen it in a while. But then in that round, it's really even on the feet. So like that fight, I definitely don't think is a robbery as much as people have gone on to claim it is. But this fight reminded me of that in the sense that Ritu had that dominance with the grappling for a good period of time, technically more time than B did damage.
she did.
But how do you weigh that damage in your opinion over Ritu's dominance that she had before? It's really close because, like I said, she never hurt Ritu at any point. She landed the better shots very clearly. Ritu was out of it, but
Yeah,
do you weigh that more? Like, it was very close. So
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
going to say that this was a robbery, but
I don't think it was a robbery,
yeah,
but I did have Ritu winning just because of the first and second rounds where she was more active. I
yeah,
mean, the only reason why B ended up winning this fight was because of the third round where
right,
Ritu completely hit a wall and she was done.
yeah, exactly. So
Her cardio was, which is pretty crazy because she's a wrestler. Wrestlers don't gas like that. She was gassed. She was it. If you guys haven't seen it, there was no activity whatsoever. She was done in the third round.
yeah, she managed to pull off a late takedown, but it didn't mean anything.
She did
But
yeah. I think that was all will from her though.
right,
That was her wrestling taking over. You know, taking over more than her tiredness.
yeah, yeah. And
Which
James
is,
pointing out a good
which is great
comparison.
though for a fighter. I mean, that's what you want to see.
Yeah, indeed.
Um, James says reminds me of Lee versus Yamaguchi one where Lee rallied late.
One of the best fights ever. That fight was so
Yeah,
fucking good. That was so
yeah,
good.
this
Got it.
fight wasn't as good as that for sure.
No, no.
Um, um, but yeah, kind of a bummer for Ritu. Now she's going into the the
The tournament.
tournament, right? Yeah, the tournament.
So
On off of a loss, like that sucks.
So here's the thing about that, and this is where I'm pretty infuriated about all of this. At first of all, welcome Sammy, who's just showing up here now, saying hello to the scrap pack, all that. I'm seeing multiple comments about this already too. Ghost saying, "Why did they even make this fight if Ritu is in the Grand Prix?" Yes, we talked about that last
Yeah,
week.
yeah, we did. It doesn't make sense.
Makoto echoing what you just said, going into the Grand Prix with loss is not good. So
No,
that's
it's terrible.
yeah, this fight never should have been made in the first place, and it drives me nuts.
We said that last week.
Yeah, drives me nuts, especially because of it kind of exactly what happened here. And now, during the entire fight throughout, they were, pushing that narrative of if B wins, she's taking her spot. She's going to take her spot. Ritu's putting her spot on the line. Makes sense because she's already scheduled for a tournament. And now today there are some rumors floating around. I haven't said anything about it publicly or anything like that because somebody, I'm totally blanking on her name, but I saw that they signed this Brazilian prospect who is a solid prospect to come fill in for Ritu, but this is not official yet. And yes, I know Chuck here saying Ritu's out of the GP, and I know he's seeing this news as well, or this rumor, because the source for whoever's saying that is a questionable one. No disrespect to them, but never heard of them. Point is, Ritu likely now not facing Mangbo. And so here's where this is just all a big problem to me, aside from the fact that, just doing this in the first place is it's just so incredibly unfair to Mangbo. And it's not just a Mangbo thing. It's whoever would have been facing Ritu.
Whoever, yeah.
Whoever, because the whole fucking point of a tournament is to know who you're fighting, right? You have it all mapped out, and now when this fight was made, she had to wonder, oh, wow, I mean, am I still going to be fighting the same person? And now it's just it's not fair to her at all because she now has to prepare for somebody else because they're completely not talking about putting Ritu in there, whether it's B or, Yamaguchi, whoever you want to throw in there. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And like one does so many little stupid things. So I love them. I don't love them, but I like them a lot. But it's hard to love them because of things like this that are just so unnecessary. Like this, we shouldn't even have to be talking about this, Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with everything that you said. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why Ritu would fight. What, a month before the tournament?
Like 2 weeks, man. I mean, for when they aired this, it could have happened earlier, of course.
Yeah, which I think did happen actually. Right. I do. But yeah, we don't know who it will be fighting Mingbo, right?
I mean, it's rumored to be
the Brazilian.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, we don't know. Why wouldn't they just throw B in there?
Yeah, it sounds like she's down for it. But so that's the thing. Also, I tweeted this out. Like, despite the fact that Mangbo probably beats either of them because Mangbo 100% would have finished Ritu in that third round. But despite the fact that she likely beats either of them, she shouldn't have to be put through this additional pressure, which a tournament's already a lot of pressure, and stress. Just to not know who you're gonna fight, like I'd be pissed if I was her, man. Like, it's just so silly to me. I mean, yeah, Sammy's saying why not be? I don't know. Well, because the thing is, as we've seen with one and kind of situations like this, they'll probably want to run it back since it was so close, which just makes it even stupider.
Shouldn't have taken place anyway. This fight shouldn't have gone down. Ritu is now out of the tournament, and it screws Mangbo over because now she has to prepare for another opponent who we don't even know. She doesn't even know. She might know, but we don't know who it is. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe she does know who her opponent is.
But still, having to switch up with a limited amount of time, it's so silly, man. And this card was India themed, kind of, right? Arjun Bowler was in the main event, ended up becoming champion.
Yeah, and he ended up winning. Actually, wow.
Yeah, but this card wasn't in India. Like, if that's your reasoning for like, all right, we really want Ritu on here because of this reason. That's what we're going for with
If
this
it would
card.
have actually happened in India, then all right, I
More
guess.
more logic to it, but still illogical as fuck. Like
Yeah,
so
yeah, crazy,
it's
man.
just goofy.
And James says you would think Ritu uses her wrestling to dominate. You would think, especially against B, who's like kind of a lot smaller than Ritu as far as
Yeah.
like stature. You know, Ritu's a stocky girl, whereas B's kind of
I mean,
tiny.
she did for the most part in the first
But she
2
did,
rounds, like we
right?
said, James.
It was just that third round where she completely gassed, and then but she did get the late takedown in the third. I mean, I don't know. It's I I honestly think that we're spending too much time on this.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because of the what is happening because of this fight rather than the actual fight.
Exactly.
You know, it's there's a lot of things that are happening because of this fight. Like
It's
super unnecessary.
yeah. It's just frustrating, especially when you have this tournament, which just leave it alone, man. Like
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, yeah, exactly. You have this beautiful tournament that people are clearly hyped for, like clearly hyped for. A lot of people are talking about this. We're talking about this tournament when they put it all out there, when they made the announcement and stuff. It got people hyped, right? And then you take away from it with Ritu and you put her in a fight that means absolutely nothing just a few weeks before the actual tournament, and now she's out. Like it's dumb. Like when you talk about when you speak that out loud, it's it's nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. Like just imagine if Bellator be getting crucified for this kind of thing.
Yeah,
You know?
but also they're kind of like they're held higher than one, I think, just because they're a United States based promotion. They're seen as as number two against the UFC, I think, to a lot of people. Plus, they take a lot of their old fighters and all that, you know. So yes, Bellator, dude, they would be fucking
I think people, well, on top of that, they also just expect nonsense from one now at this point. Like, because it
well. Yeah,
unfortunately happens too much.
we've seen quite a bit of nonsense from one over the years. They're getting better, I think, but here we are again with this these shenanigans.
There's always got to be shenanigans. So, all
Always.
right,
They
we
should
will
have
move on.
one of their cards should be called One Shenanigans.
That would be incredible, actually. I was like, just own it. So,
Yeah,
all
own it.
right. But before this fight, there was no controversy at all. Ayaka Miura, she did it again, Steve.
Yeah, I
Beautiful
didn't see
work.
it. I ended up seeing. I didn't watch the fight, but I ended up seeing the clips. From what I saw, she looked phenomenal, right?
Yeah, this was obviously vintage Ayaka Miura. You know, she's
Yeah,
only won in this position in one championship, which
crazy.
is
Yeah,
pretty nuts. Four
scarf,
victories now.
Americana.
Yeah, scarf holds and Americanas. I don't know if they were all chokes before this, or I don't think so. I think they were all actually, yeah, with the legs over the arm Americana. You know, with the
Yeah,
headlock
it
right
was
there,
an
the scarf
Americana.
hold, obviously. Yeah, that's removed. She's very good at it. She is very talented as well. Only has that one loss to Tiffany Teo, which she rebounded off of with this performance in. That was a questionable stoppage, in my opinion. But here we are. Gets back in the win column and, you know, pretty much did her thing. There wasn't much action on the feet in this one. Got her down pretty quickly. And from there, you know, took over. I mean, Bastos actually did escape the first time that she took her down with the
Mhm.
headlock kind of takedown and then got her back into the position, which is hilarious. Like 2 times, you know, she took her down 2 times the same way. Couldn't quite get the first one. Still doesn't matter. Gets it anyways. Yeah, she's looking very good. And I imagine she
She's
will.
adorable. I'll say something about her. She is friggin' adorable, man.
Yeah, she's kind of feels like the Amanda Hebus of their division.
Yeah,
Kind of
true. Yeah, she's so like fun and cute and adorable. Like I really like this girl.
Yeah, and obviously always fun to watch her do,
Oh yeah, for sure.
her work. So,
I mean, Americanas are dope. Like
oh yeah,
that's a sick way of finishing a fight.
yeah. I mean, geez, you barely ever see that pulled off at all. I mean, we
We
saw
don't like we. When was the last
Conejo
time?
did it. Conejo
Yeah,
did it most recently, but
yeah. Like when do we ever see him? We don't. We hardly ever see him.
so always fun. And yeah, just watch an Ayakamura fight. There you go. You're guaranteed at least one
Crazy.
attempt.
Yeah.
So she will likely get the panda at some point, and that'll
Oh
be a hell of a fight.
my goodness.
Hell of a fight. Of
Yeah.
course, assuming she gets past Nicolini, which we'll get to that in 2 weeks. So I'll save predictions there, but
Yeah.
yep, keeps on keeping on. So yeah, plenty of interesting stuff happening over the weekend at one Dangal. New champion, as we said, controversy at atomweight, all over the place. So. And Rue chiming in here saying we don't see Americana since everyone knows how to defend it. Day one jiu-jitsu. Oh, calling out all the losers. Calling out.
Everybody but her opponents, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right. Now UFC time, Steve. And boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. A lot of stuff. That card was crazy. Top to bottom, good stuff.
It was a really good card. It was fun.
Kicking off with surely something that didn't make you happy. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so Caitlin Chikagian beat Viviane Araujo by unanimous decision. I hated this fight. I hated how Caitlin Chikagian won. I hate everything about it.
It was
The best thing that came out of Caitlin Chikagian this weekend was her non-fighting stuff.
I knew you were gonna say that. Rue. Man, Steve hates this. Go, Steve must be fuming.
I was so pissed, guys. Like I was really mad watching this fight. Like she annoys the fuck out of me. Like I was boiling, dude, watching her. Okay, so she had a teep kick, right? It was great. Like, good. Like, that's cool. Do the teep kick. That's cool. Follow it up. Go. Rush the girl. No, instead you just teep and stand there. Like, dude, finish.
So the most frustrating thing about this fight for me, which I did enjoy the fight, I thought it was just fine. Not the best fight of the night for sure, but it was most frustrating for me to see that, after Viviane's win over Roxy, I thought that we had that question answered of Viviane's gas tank being
No. I knew exactly that's where you were going, and nope.
Yeah.
This was just as bad as Ritu, if not worse.
I don't know about that.
Really?
Ritu was
She had
great.
she had nothing. Viviane had nothing at the end.
Sammy didn't even watch the fight, he says.
The education. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that there's a lot of people who weren't tuning in for this fight.
Oh, Chuck making a interesting point.
I guess. Vivi fans should be happy Caitlyn saved her from getting murdered. See, everybody didn't watch this shit. Sam says, I feel you, Steve. My heart was in my shoes watching Vivi's gas tank leave the octagon midway through round 2. It was terrible. Like, dude, how do you gas that hard after, like, literally mid, like, what Sam is saying, literally mid round 2? How?
Oh, Yusuf, totally right.
Araujo would be a problem if she could fix her weaknesses, which is her gas tank and freaking throw and like kind of Mackenzie Dern esque with her flailing bombs.
I mean, when she gasses, but when she's. I mean, that first round was very good for her. She looked very good in the first round. Won the first round.
The one round looked good for Araujo. The one round. After round 2, the halfway mark, done.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like looking at the stats of this fight are very interesting because as you can see here, Chukagian apparently outstruck her in that first round, but in terms of effectiveness, I mean, Araujo definitely got the better of those exchanges. And then in the second round, she, had that mountain, had the 2 minutes of top control, outstruck her there. But man, the at the end of that second round, Chukagian came on very strong and landed the most effective shots of that round, and I think just edged it for her. And then in the third round, obviously, that was pretty much one-way traffic for Chukagian for the most part, despite, pretty decent strike count from Araujo. The fight was close, I thought. I mean, it hinged on that second round, and a lot of people think that Araujo should have won from the work she did on the ground.
At the beginning.
Right,
Maybe.
in the first portion. But like I said, I just think Chukagian came on. She just landed well enough towards the end once she got up. I will say, though, that the 30-27 we got for Chukagian was absolutely absurd. Like, she didn't win the first round. She definitely did not win the first round.
Dude, what were you watching to give her a 30-27? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the 29-28. It is what it is with that. But a 30-27, that's wild. She clearly didn't win the first round.
Yeah, that was odd, but yeah, it's I don't know, man. Araujo obviously has to. We didn't necessarily learn anything from this fight. I mean,
we learned
from my eyes
nothing about either of them from this fight because we already knew that Araujo, her gas tank was very limited. We already knew that she hit hard, and when she connected at the beginning, she hit Caitlin pretty damn hard. But that was like the end all for her. She throws very, very hard, and then she gasses. Like, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Okay, so Chuck says Araujo will keep gassing until she stops throwing every punch at 100%. That's exactly right. You cannot do that.
I kind of like that you guys pointed that out too, because when you think about in that fight with Roxy, there were enough moments where Roxy kind of went for takedowns and didn't stall intentionally, but like it was stalling moments where they were up against the cage and Araujo couldn't fully throw her bombs, which maybe kind of masked the fact that she hasn't fixed her cardio issue in that fight. And so kind of blinded me to that one to believe that she had, fixed that up. So
I do think that I'm going to say something about Caitlin. I do think that she used her length well in this fight.
Oh, she always does.
Right, she does, but especially in this fight, she actually used her kicks pretty well. I just wanted her, and this is the problem with Caitlin. I don't necessarily dislike how she fights. I dislike how she doesn't finish when she can. She clearly has the pathway to finishing, and she never does. So that makes her a very boring fighter, as good as she is at striking, because she is good at striking. She doesn't finish, and that is garbage.
I think that's, even though I'm a defender of Caitlin Chukagian, I think that's a totally fair take, because if you look back, remember at her first loss to Karamouche when she was down very clearly in the first two rounds, and she knew it, came out guns blazing in the third, head kicked her, almost right. Finished her.
It's true. She almost did. And Karamouche is a tough woman.
Yeah. So I think she's just kind of, you hate to say a coaster, but somebody who, when they're comfortably in the driver's seat, don't really push the pedal to the metal, I guess, if they don't need to, which it's kind of like a why risk it thing, I imagine, for her, but obviously doesn't get the fans on her side. Like,
we're gonna get that type of fight from her every time out. This is how she fights, and this is why people like myself and everybody else in the comment section do not like her. This fight was trash. When I saw Chikagian do that Muay Thai hop and where she doesn't build off it, I just turned the fight off. See, I didn't turn it off. But I mean, that's exactly right. Like you need to finish because there's a clear path with what you're doing to finish. She just doesn't do it. And this is every damn fight, Drake. This is every damn fight. It's not just, one time out or maybe once or twice. This is every damn fight.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of highlighted the fact that she has no finishes yet in her wins. So
they did highlight that, and I absolutely love that because it needs to be highlighted.
She got very close to finishing Antonina, but yeah, that was different. So
we're gonna get to Antonina too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to get right to it? Because I mean, I'm sure we're done talking about this.
Yeah, we're done.
We do have some questions coming up too. So
we're not done with Caitlin Chikagian. That's right. We have questions about her. Fuck.
We'll wrap it here with the stamina at the comment.
The most I think we ever saw Caitlin's go after it was in the closing round versus Calderwood, and how memorable was that fight. For fuck's sake. But apparently she got 221K that night. I get why she's that way if so. Yeah, I mean, if it works and you're winning, fucking do it, I guess. But you're not winning fans over. You are not. Dude, literally, everybody in this comment section, and this is a small amount of people, the whole Twitterverse was clowning on this fight. Like, this is not a good look for Caitlin Chikagian. Like I said, the biggest thing that came out of this fight wasn't the fight for Caitlin Chikagian.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Oh, man. Hilarious. But, all right, moving on. Two more flyweight fights.
Now it was just you won the fucking Antina.
So, I told you all.
She's so disappointing. Like, I'm just going to get it out of the way. Dude, I'm heated right now. Like, Caitlin Chikagian kicked it off, and now we're going straight into Antonina Shevchenko. She sucks. Go to Muay Thai, and Yusuf, I know you saw it because you commented on my tweet. Go to Muay Thai, go to kickboxing where you're good. You cannot do MMA. You're terrible. Antonina Shevchenko is terrible MMA. Terrible. And Drake called it. You're right. I should have called it. I just went with Shevchenko because her Muay Thai is supposedly better than Andrea Lee, and it didn't work out that way.
Yeah. The brief moments that this fight was in the clinch, it was pretty even. I think they both landed pretty solid shots, but, we knew that Andrea Lee does have those grappling skills in her back pocket, which she needed to utilize. She did. It was fantastic to see.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of, for me going into this, if she would do it, because, when you're in that point with your back against the wall and needing to prove it, are you going to fight as smart as you should, or like, will that pressure get to you and you're just going to be a little bit aggressive and try and throw it down, prove a point by fighting the person at what they're best at? And Andrea did the first part, which awesome. You love to see that. And
she looked good. She looked great, man.
I mean, geez, that second round was practically an entire repeat or mimicking of Sohee Ham and Hamasaki 3, with that triangle for like the whole round. Just had her stuck there. Was very surprised that Antonina hung on for as long as she did, but then KGB switches it up, goes for the arm. Genius. I love that picture. She's got the tongue out. She's working it, and man, she bent that thing in the wrong direction. Can't help but feel happy for her. And yeah, Antonina, we know she's good at Muay Thai, but that's about it. I told after in the preview, and after she beat Lipsky, that didn't tell us that she has great grappling. Unfortunately, I hate to ever say anything negative about Lipsky, but we know that she's not good on the ground. So it's one of those things where you got to assess the entire picture, and that didn't tell us really anything, in terms of her grappling improving. Like, yeah, okay, she can do that to people who are not very good there, but how can she hang with somebody like Andrea Lee? Not very good. And, we had seen that already with Roxy and Chukagian, and obviously. Same thing, 3 times now. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Antonina next. But, hey, KGB saves her job. Great performance. If anybody got robbed of the 75K, might have been her.
And she called out for it and everything.
Yeah.
She said that she needed it and she didn't get it, which is unfortunate because that was a beautiful armbar, man.
Yep.
She worked that arm, dude. She worked it.
Yeah, that looked painful, man. Like, I haven't seen anything if Antonia's arm is messed up from that, but goddamn, that one hurt. That was just a bad night for arms, wasn't it? It's not good. Oh, Jesus.
So everybody in the chat saying something about her screaming. Rue, she didn't have.
She's not the screamer, though, you guys. It's her
sister. It's her sister. It's Valentina.
Sammy also.
Yep. Sammy said maybe if Antonina started yelling in the clinch, she would have had better chance of winning. And then Yusuf said Antonina has a big advantage over her opponents. She's the perfect sparring partner, which is Valentina. I guess she's done. I don't know. I mean, she does have the perfect sparring partner. One of the best female fighters ever. Second, I guess, best female fighter ever, maybe. But
I just think it's too late for her is the thing. Like,
it's way too late. She started too late.
Yeah.
She was really good. We got to remember that she was a decorated Muay Thai and kickboxing champion. K1
better than
K1
Valentina.
Champion.
Yeah.
Better than
career-wise.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. But MMA started too late, and now she's at a point where she can't. Once it goes to the ground, this is what happens. What you see on the screen. This is exactly what happens.
Yep. So, we will see. They're pointing out the Lipsky win. Ghost Phantom here.
Yeah, I think everyone here knows Antonina yelling got her that Lipsky win. Stamina says, I know that Antonina will always be bested by experienced veteran MMA fighters. That's her ceiling. The pattern is clear now. Not nearly enough octagon hours. Exactly. Yeah, or MMA hours in training either. She just started way too late for it. They tried.
They rushed her.
They tried. They gave her the push, and it like Drake just said, she was rushed, and it just didn't work out. So, I mean, I don't think that she'll stop fighting MMA. I don't think that's who she is. But these are the kind of outcomes that we're going to see, I think.
Yeah, depending on matchmaking, of course, but not looking great. So, from there, we go to another told you so moment. Steve, you were on my side with this one as well, and man, when will those odds makers learn, dude? When will they learn?
Telling you, if you're gonna bet money, just look at the women's fights odds. That's how literally I'm telling you guys. This is literally how I'm making money. So Priscilla Cachoeira beat Gina Mazzani via a brutal, and as you can see in the picture there, Mazzani was bloody.
Worst gassing of the weekend, I think.
It was phenomenal, man. Cachoeira, she's a lot of fun to watch, while Gina Mazzani, not so much.
So this was completely unsurprising, right? I think this fight went about as exactly as I imagined it would, aside from her gassing as hard as she did. Like that's never really a thing you predict to see, but
yeah,
we kind of know that Cachoeira has absolutely no takedown defense, which was on display in this one, which is a problem. And, I don't think anyone expects Cachoeira to be
fighting up.
Right. Yeah. We don't think we expect her to be a title contender anytime soon, but she is good enough to beat Gina Mazzani, who, as we know, her best win in the last, I don't know how many years, is Rachel Ostovich. Which, again, if you want to look back at competition in the whole picture, as I said, with Lipsky and Shevchenko. Again, odds makers don't fucking care, I guess, because when you look at the grand scheme, this was her, what, 4th time being finished in like 5 UFC fights or something? Like, I mean, it isn't surprising that this went this way.
We both said that this was going to happen. Mazani's not good. She's not a good fighter. While Priscilla Cachoeira hits really hard.
And is one of the toughest fighters just in all of MMA. Like, you knew that she was going to be able to walk through whatever Mazani had. And Mazani's best chance was doing what she did in this fight. And, when she had her success by taking Cachoeira down, it was just a matter of keeping it up. And we should talk about this, Steve. A lot of people, whole lot of people were bitching online about the stand-up from Mike Beltran, which, yes, I do agree that stand-ups are stupid. There shouldn't be referee stand-ups in the first place. I think, if you can't get up, you can't get up. Then, figure a way to get up. But point is, I don't think that would have mattered because they still would have got up in a minute or a minute and a half, whenever, and Mazani was still going to be gassed. Like, I don't think the result would have been any different there. Cachoeira would have poured it on in the third regardless. So what do you think about the stand-up part?
I don't think it really mattered, but I think that it probably shouldn't have happened, which is weird because Mike Beltran is a really good referee.
Phenomenal.
He's one of the best, if not the best. Because he actually referees jiu-jitsu competitions. He does wrestling competitions. He is an actual combat sports referee, whereas a lot of these guys who we see are just strictly MMA. He does literally everything. He does Muay Thai. He literally will referee any kind of... He'll go out and referee a street fight if he has to.
He'd probably end up winning it too.
Yeah. He's a tough son of a bitch, that man. I don't know if you guys know the story about Mike Beltran, referee Mike Beltran. He's the one with the really long mustache all the way down. But he was former Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. He did SWAT. He was a detective, and then he went into the barrio, East LA, one of the very roughest, hardest parts of this country, and he worked in the drug and alcohol and stuff like that in the ghetto. Man, he's a bad motherfucker. I can't even forget. He's former Marine. Like, Mike Beltran is a bad motherfucker, guys. Like, he's legit. So who am I to say he's wrong? I'm not gonna say he's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't usually get things wrong. So
no, give him a pass, especially when this one I don't think mattered. People are just being stupid about it.
Well, people like to just nitpick on referees. That it's easy to say this referee sucks, but once you're in there, I don't think it's as easy as many of these people think it is to be a referee. I don't think it's that easy, to be honest.
No. And they're like, whoa, Beltran made a somewhat questionable call? Yeah, whatever.
That's like the thing with Herb Dean, too, is, I mean, he's a good...
Let's not get into Herb.
He's a good referee. He's made mistakes. They've all made mistakes. But he's done more good than bad. It's just when he does bad, it's really highlighted.
If you're meaning Herb, then we're just gonna move on.
Yeah,
not tolerate Herb talk on this show. But yes, fun fact: I did do some tequila shots with Mike Beltran after Ali Malay's fight against Vita Ortega in a hotel lobby once. So that was fun. But Stamina, he told us Amazon and Cachoeira would be fight of the year. Priscilla unshamedly loading up those right hands was fucking comedy gold.
Yeah, it was pretty comedy.
It's well comedy.
And then he goes on to say, Stamina goes on to say the stand-up was shit, but so what? Gina didn't magnetically attract Priscilla's fist to her face. She had just as much chance as before to defend herself. It was only going to be what it was.
Yeah,
which was
completely agree.
Priscilla's fist to face.
Yeah,
but not magnetically.
Yep, very true. I mean, could have fooled me, but no, just kidding.
Ghost Phantom asks, what does the UFC do with Mizani? Feed her older fighters on the way out, or younger fighters to build their resume, or just get rid of her and send her to BKFC to fight Rachel Ostovich again?
Oh, God.
Or Pearl Gonzalez, or Paige Van Zant, or Beck Rawlings, or whomever, Shanna Starr, or Jenny Savage. I mean, we can keep on going with the names. It doesn't matter what Gina Mazzoni is going to do because she's just going to keep losing if she fights in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that she's only in the UFC right now because she did come back on short notice.
She did.
So
it's very true.
Guess we will leave it at that because
I honestly don't think that they bring her back. I mean, how could they after this? This was terrible.
Yeah, it's good fun, and she was the minus 210 favorite. So congratulations to everybody who made your money.
This guy,
that guy. So.
I'm telling you guys. If you're gonna bet, if you're going to throw your money away to the odds makers and to this fucking scamming of betting, at least look at the women's. At least look at the women's fights and put your money there rather than the men's fights because they don't get the odds are never right with the women. Never.
No, very, very rare. And Stamina with probably the best suggestion if they're going to keep her around.
If Mazzani should be a proving ground gatekeeper for all the fresh puppy male signees off the contender series. But I honestly don't think that she should stick around. I mean, sure, you can do that, I guess. That's fine. But give roster spots to people who are worth rostering.
Right. Indeed. So, all right, everybody. That was UFC 262, as well as one Dangal, which took place the morning before for us here stateside. Lots of interesting talking points. You know, many a word. So. Good fun. But anyways, we'll move on to the Twitter mailbag time. It's everybody's favorite part of the show, perhaps. Lots of stuff in here, indeed. And we'll be circling back to the Chook, everybody's favorite flyweight. Caitlin Chukagian popping up here first from our boy Headkick Steve. Shout out to Headkick Audio. Let me get it up.
Raise your hand if your favorite fighter is Chukagian. I don't see anybody raising their hands.
All right, here we are.
All right, Steve asks, Headkick Audio Steve says, what do you do with Chukagian? Cut her. And do you think she won the fight? Also, I hear Joanna Champion is fighting out her contract. Discuss. So we'll start with number one question. Right. What do you do with Chukagian? Cut her. And do you think she won the fight?
So we pretty much answered the second part of that first question already. Yes, she did win. As I said, pretty close though. Came down to the second round. what do we do with her now? It's Steve says cut her, just flat out. That's all he's got for it. It's for me. It's weird because she's in kind of that pretty much the John Fitch spot, right, where she's pretty much the clear number two, the consensus number two in the division. But she lost so clearly to the champion, like John Fitch did. And so if you can manage to beat that person, which nobody could beat John Fitch for a good while, that makes things very odd. She's just kind of in that. I think that's the best way to put it. She's in that John Fitch number two spot. Like, yeah, she's just kind of going to be taking on contenders to see if they can beat her to get to the champion. If not, then all right. So you have to go the path of, let's say, a Lauren Murphy or a JoJo, even though JoJo also has already lost to Caitlyn. So, so you have to take these longer,
what are we doing?
Weird paths.
That's the whole problem with this division as a whole. Like, it's cleaned out already. It's already cleaned out by Valentina Shevchenko. She just keeps throwing people into her, and she keeps fucking ending it or beating them. It doesn't matter who it is. Chikazian sucks. I hate that she's number one contender again. Like, this, it's just annoying as fuck. Like, this whole division is fucking frustrating, man.
Oh, man. So, yeah, this kind of, I'd say that John Fitch spot, I guess, for now, until proven otherwise, when somebody comes in, takes her out. Stamina suggesting Tyler Santos, which very fun fight, and bummer that she, hasn't gotten back in there yet, as we were supposed to see her against Roxy, I believe. What was that, a week or so ago?
Last week, yeah, or no, 2 weeks ago.
Whenever that was, and that'd be a big launch up for her. But at this point, it's kind of like, why not? Because you're stuck in that spot where it doesn't really matter. Because she's not going to get back to a title shot unless she racks up like 8 in a row, however many that she needs to, and everybody else has already lost to Shevchenko. Like, that's the weirdness of it.
Everybody's losing to Shevchenko. Yeah, that's the point. Like, that's the division sucks.
Yeah,
I think they're fun fighters to watch. The division, they're fun fighters, but there's nothing going on with the champion because she just keeps steamrolling. And then Stamina goes on to say, Chikazian has fought more girls in the division than the damn champion. It's fucked up.
Well, is it though? I mean, champions are never the most active fighters, Stamina. That's never the case, Like,
They're not, but I do understand what Stamina is saying. Like, Caitlyn she's like she is the bona fide number one. But I mean, if she fights Shevchenko again, it's gonna be the same shit. Nothing will change.
A good comparison to make would be Joseph Benavidez, to Demetrius, because also if you look at Demetrius, he's also flyweight division when he was reigning, and everyone said his division sucks when really he was just that good. It's pretty much identical in that case, and Benavidez had to win a shit ton in a row to get back there. And of course their first fight was a lot closer than the second fight, but after that it took him forever to even smell the possibility of a title shot, and he was ranked like the number one contender pretty much the entire time, the whole time, which is insane.
Well, that division also got no love at all at that time either. I mean, for fuck's sake, Demetrius Johnson was pound for pound best fighter in the world, and he was getting no love.
Yeah, pretty wild stuff.
Chuck says Chikazian has to beat everyone until Valentina is just fighting Chikazian leftovers. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, that's just what it's going to be. That's what it has been, I think. It's garbage. Unless we see Lauren Murphy fight her. That's a new one.
I mean, they did already fight at bantamweight. It's Chikazian's debut, actually.
No. I'm talking about Lauren Murphy and Shevchenko.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
That's the only thing that I'm even remotely interested in at this point. And I'm not even really that interested in it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in a couple weeks here with that fight. But yeah, so I don't know, head kick Steve. It's kind of whatever, you know. It's
Cut her.
like it's what it is.
Cut her. Just end it. End the bullshit with
How dare
her.
you? How dare you?
So
Alright.
Stamina saying bench her. Fuck it. Bench her. I thought she was retiring anyway. Like she was gonna go have babies and shit or something. Go. Isn't that what she said?
She was contemplating it, yes, but she changed her mind. So.
Oh, God. Go have babies.
Incredible.
Yusuf says Chikujin gets her first knockout and rematch the Shevchenko scenes.
Absolute scenes.
The scenes.
This is great segue and final bit with Chukagin, and I know that. What do you say, everybody?
Is Caitlin Chikagin the second best flyweight of all time?
Listen, as I've said, I'm not a hater of Chukagin as much as maybe all of you are. She's obviously quite good, which I think many people can admit, but it's just the fact that it's not the most exciting for a lot of people. But no, I mean, I guess I understand why Waleed. A shout out to Waleed. I didn't realize this was by him actually. I thought that was Steve.
No, that's Waleed.
I can understand why you might ask that, but if you look at, he's not saying UFC specifically, the grand scheme overall of MMA, no, I wouldn't say that she's the second best flyweight of all time. You got Alima, obviously what she's done, Jennifer Maya's career, Vanessa Porto even, right. There's much more established people who have held titles outside of the UFC, who have just had better overall flyweight careers than Chukagin. But yeah, I wouldn't say she's very close to that. As good as she is, and as we're talking about, it's Gina Mazzani, as James throws out there, obviously. So no, I think simply no. If you know your MMA history, she's not number 2 yet, and I think she'll need to do something very significant to take that title win.
Yeah, like beat Valentina, but
that would
never going to
help.
It's never going to happen. So
yeah,
sucks.
I guess appreciate that one, Waleed.
I guess I'm one of the butthurt fans, Chuck.
Oh yes, but
it's not really that I'm butthurt. It's just that she annoys the fuck out of me. Like, just finish a goddamn fight. Maybe you just finish a fight and my view will change. You know what I mean? A little bit. Not my whole view of you, but at least a little bit of the view will change. Just finish a fight when you have opportunity, ample opportunity to finish, and you don't. Fight after fight after fight after fight. It's fucking nonsense and it's boring, and I don't even want to watch it anymore. And neither does anybody else. We're all butthurt, apparently.
Oh, man. All right. Well, appreciate that one, Waleed. Whether you were serious or not, it's a reasonable question, I suppose, especially for
I would say
for those who don't. Sammy throwing that one out there.
Steve would definitely take Gina Mazzani over Caitlin. I think I would take anybody just because how terrible Caitlin.
Hey, you want to give Caitlin her first finish? There you go. Match them up right there.
Yeah. There you go. I don't even think that she would finish Gina Mazzani.
Oh, jeez. That would be something. All right. We'll move on from that. Thank you, Waleed. Buddy, good to see you dropping one in before. Now I'm going to try and do this in order
Where
of
is
who.
Waleed? Why isn't he in here anymore live?
He might be just lurking.
No, he's a talker.
Okay, yeah, true. All right, Yusuf bringing in the heat, as always, in the mailbag. Goodness, I glanced over these a little bit when he dropped them in, and they are ridiculous as usual, in a good way.
I love that he goes WWE type shit now, because he knows that you and I will actually talk about it. So now we know that Yusuf likes WWE, by the way.
Yep. Exposed himself.
He did.
16 women. All right.
So Yusuf asked, "Who wins a 16-woman battle royal in each division?" If you guys don't know, like Stamina didn't know what last week what a
Gauntlet match.
gauntlet match was. Stamina, don't go Google it. I'll explain. Battle royal is where everybody's in the ring at one time and they have to throw each other over the top of the rope. And at the end, there's one. Who is the winner? So Yusuf is asking, who wins a 16-woman battle royal in each division, including the champion and top 15 contenders in a WWE ring? By the way, he doesn't want it in the octagon because the octagon's way too high.
That would be so funny to see that try. That would take so long. It would take forever.
Maybe we'll really never be able to. So his prediction, we'll get to his predictions first. He says in strawweight, Andrade. I'm assuming because Andrade picks people up and slams them.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Flyweight, everyone teams up to throw Val out, but Big Sis is there to help. And then Shevchenko does the heel turn, or Valentina does the heel turn and throws, and throws Antonina out, and she's winner. She's the winner. and then the bantamweight division, Jermaine Durandamy and Amanda Nunez duke it out. Unconscious bodies outside the ring.
I love the picture he just painted with all of that. You know, like, I can see that so vividly.
I fucking love these questions from Yusuf. Like I adore them. Like they make they highlight this whole show for me.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, do you agree with his choices here, Steve? I think the strawweight one is pretty solid. I mean, if you think about Andrade does throw everybody around.
Yeah, she's a tank, and she literally like fucking throws people and dips them, you know, and fucking picks them up and slams them. Who's to say that she wouldn't be able to do it in a WWE ring? Not me.
My wild card pick for that, or actually, since it doesn't matter, I'm gonna go with my gal, Team Kanako. She's the dark horse. She's gonna pick up everybody else. She's got that low center of gravity like Andrade. Fantastic wrestler. She'll get in on the legs. Maybe when Andrade is done throwing everybody else out, she's going to sneak up behind her and she'll flip her out there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. Flyweight, though, I think that is absolutely perfect. Everyone teams up to throw out Valentina. Antina is there to help. Don't know if it would help too much. I like Steve's idea though of that she does the heel turn and gets the win. that's good. Yeah, I think that happened between the Hardy Boys a couple times.
It definitely happened with them. I mean, there's been quite a few heel turns in
I know all the
that's
teams.
Like one of my favorite things about pro wrestling is when somebody does it, dude. Okay, so if we're gonna talk pro wrestling a little bit, and I've literally always wanted John Cena to be a heel.
Oh yeah, of course.
I've literally always wanted that. I don't watch WWE very often, like at all, really. Just the bigger shows, if even that. Like WrestleMania, I'll watch. But if John Cena was a heel, I would probably watch on a weekly when he was there, just because I think he would be so damn good at it.
Well, when they should have turned him like 10 years ago. You know, when he was like champ and everyone was like, oh, this fucking guy still.
Before
like, we all hated him anyway. Yeah, right.
Now he's just the Make-A-Wish guy and he's way too nice. He can't be a heel now.
Well, you know that he originally, we're going to lose the audience here.
Our numbers are taking a massive dip right now.
He started out as supposed to be a heel, but the audience liked him so much that they were like, oh, we should run with this as he's the good guy. You remember that? Because he was like, he was roasting everybody with his rapping and all that, which was just so entertaining.
That shit was hilarious. His back and forths with like The Rock and then like Steve Austin, dude, classic WWE stuff. That was the best childhood. Time. That was the best time for WWE. I think that was the best time.
Yeah. Well. We can get into this and go on forever and ever, but I think the people are right here, though. Flyweight, Yusuf did not specify if this was just UFC, you guys, so the correct answer is obviously
Oh,
Kana. Wins at
obviously Connor
flyweight.
wins.
You've seen her
Obviously.
bend frying pans. She'd probably pull one out from under the ring. She'd roll under the ropes, get back in, bash everybody, and get them out of there. Kana is definitely the right answer.
Hmm.
But if he is talking about UFC, she still wins because she'd come with an invasion and
Yeah,
take the strap.
NWO style invasion takes over, beats everybody, takes the belt back to Bellator with her.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Connor for flyweight, I mean, that's undeniable. Bantamweight, I think that's a pretty perfect assumption as well from Yusuf. I think he got it down with those right there. GDR and Nunez would duke it out. Unconscious bodies just laying all around.
I think Aspen Ladd would be up there. She's got some really strong legs from all of her hiking and stuff.
True.
Yeah. She probably lifts pretty good weight. She can throw those girls out of the ring, I think.
Yeah. I think Nunez would probably be pretty safe though, no matter who is trying
I
to
think
throw her
Nunez
out.
definitely the safe bet. But if you want to talk about like an underdog or whatever, I
Right.
think
Yeah.
Aspen Ladd would be one of them.
Good dark horse pick indeed. I think even Ketlin Vieira maybe, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good choice.
Maybe Raquel Pennington. She's got the
Very
body.
possible.
She's got the body on her.
Indeed. So hilarious stuff, Yusuf. And he's not done yet. Not done yet. He's got 2 more tweets for us. True or falses, as per
I love
usual,
it.
you guys.
I love
There's some good ones. There's some good ones. I did look at those. So let's see what he had for us after, and we'll get to you, Ghost, momentarily. I think it's this one that he had next.
Okay, so watching Oliveira versus Chandler got me wondering what would happen if Suarez and Dern grappled if they fought. Who wins grappling exchanges, wrestler versus BJJ? And then there's another question.
All right, yeah, we'll start out with
We'll
the
start with
first
the first
part
one.
there.
Hmm. Suarez and Dern in a grappling match. Who wins the exchanges? I'm gonna always go the wrestler. Always go the wrestler. But if Dern were to get, say, of course, maybe an arm or an ankle or something, it would be trouble. But I will always go the wrestler. So Suarez would win.
Yeah, it's a classic tale of strong wrestling being able to nullify the
Always.
strong jiu-jitsu, right?
Always. Yes.
We've seen that many a time, but yeah,
But if she takes a limb, then I mean it's done.
right. Yeah.
But if actually getting to the limb, that would be very difficult for Dern, because Suarez is so damn good. She's a phenomenal wrestler, one of the best female wrestlers ever.
Yeah. So that's a tricky one. What Ghost said right here, obviously position over submission. That's a
Absolutely.
big part of it.
Agree 100% with Ghost Fandom.
So I would love to see it play out.
It'd be so fun. But I mean, look, if they were ever to fight, we wouldn't see this.
Right. It would look like Verna versus Dern, as Ghost points out here. Verna has great jiu-jitsu, and was able to nullify with, basic utilization though there. So yeah, I mean, that's a good indicator if you want to look at that fight. Verna, I don't remember her really being, she was never in any danger herself when she got down there, and she's also a very good grappler, as is Suarez, just different types of grapplers. But I think that's a good, if you're going to look at 2 of the strongest grapplers not named Mackenzie Dern, Jandaroba and Suarez are definitely 2 of them. Plenty of others that you can name at strawweight, but yeah, so it'd be a good one. It's a tough one, but if history shows anything, and he says basic in the sense of technique, but great in terms of timing. Indeed, she is phenomenal in that regard.
Yeah.
And it's funny actually to mention this matchup and then Verna, because we're kind of gonna get this fight in a sense without these fighters when Verna takes on Kanako. That's pretty much the same thing. Like incredibly great wrestler, incredibly great BJJ. We're pretty much getting that before, if aside from this fight. So that's why I love it so much, but that's why I hate it, because I don't want either of them to lose. But
I think it'll be a good fight, though.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be a fun one.
Gonna be good. And James, I see you pointing out we should do an interview with the live chat with Kana. That would be definitely incredible. And the next time I do talk to her, I do plan on mentioning you guys and the support that she has. But that might be tricky, the timing of it. You never know when it's going to be. Maybe we can see what I can do, but obviously you guys have to show up no matter when it's going down. These things can be, come together late or whenever, but we'll see. It's a good idea. That would be definitely very fun. Either way, she'll know about the Kana army if she doesn't already. And yes, you also said, let me guess, something to do with Valentina for the true or falses? I believe so. I believe so, unsurprisingly. But anyway, second part.
Loves him some Valentina Shevchenko.
Yes, he does, as he mentions in his second part.
Khabib, McGregor, Adesanya, Wonderboy, Jan, Weili, and Shevchenko are my favorite fighters in the UFC. Who are yours?
Well, I feel like I used to have kind of, and I do still have a lot of favorite fighters, but in terms of emotionally attaching myself kind of the same way as when I was purely a fan, obviously it's good for me in my position to not do that anymore. And I haven't gone out of my way to do it, but just as I've gotten more busy with everything, it's like takes away focus from fandom specifically. You know what I mean? So I do still have a lot of favorites and people that I want to win, obviously. And I'm not shy about saying it. As I said, with Verna and Kanako are definitely two of my favorites. And for the last so long, ever since I've been following Xiaonan and Kanako's careers, I feel like they've been my top two favorites in recent years. But obviously Dominic Cruz is, my favorite fighter of all time, up there with Chael, who's retired now. So count him or not if you want to. But I've kind of turned into more of a who's fighting right now as my favorites. I mean, I've always loved Khabib as well, who's also retired now. I mean, how can you not love that kind of wrestling and fighter that he was? But if I was to say in terms of, I guess Yusuf did say Khabib as well, but active people, I really do like Weili also, obviously. My answer to this has generally been like Cruz and then Xiaonan and Kanako in recent years. But, I have plenty of people that I... Oh, Kana, yes, Kana as well, Ruin. Yes, I did say Weili. So I try not to do bias as much as I can, but for some people, I just can't help it. They're so fun to watch, but there's a lot of people that I like to watch, but some that really grab my interest more than others these days. So all over the place. What about you, Steve?
Well, my number one favorite fighter ever, still fighting, Shogun Rua. Fucking adore that. I adore that man. It's really gonna break my heart when he retires, and if it's on a bad losing type of way, I want him to go out a winner and just go out like that in a good way. The Diaz boys, of course, have a lot in common. Stockton boys, obviously. Their street. I'm very much was built on the street. Carla Esparza, I love Carla. Tatiana Suarez. It's all the wrestlers. I can start naming all the wrestlers. And Khabib, my God, Khabib. How can I not say Khabib? I love that. I love that guy. I'm really happy that he went out the way he did. I hope that if ever he comes back, I hope that it's for a bigger fight, not just to come back and fight. I hope that it would be for a big fight. I guess that's it. Kind of like Drake, where it's nice seeing fighters build themselves up. I like seeing the storylines and stuff like that. Have I completely latched on like I used to? No, I have not completely latched on like I used to. Can't allow myself, I guess, to get emotionally attached like I did before. That's why I'm like naming all the older people that are fighting, other than I guess Tatiana Suarez.
It just hurts so much in this sport. It stings when you're that emotional about
it's
it.
bad. It losses are bad. Like if it's not a baseball loss. It's not a football loss. If your guy loses hard or your girl loses bad in a fight, man, that hurts your feelings a little bit. Hurts your feelings. And yeah, James, Nico Montano. There's another one. If I'm gonna, but that has a lot to do with our backgrounds. She's Native American. I'm Native American. So I mean, there's for me, it's like an attachment, not just because of fighting. I guess for a lot of these fighters, Carlos Barz is the only one, I guess, where I'm attached a little bit more, just because of wrestling. Really, great question though. Love that question.
Indeed, always good stuff from Yusuf. Yep, we got the Whaley and Kana mentions in the chat, of course.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Whaley is incredibly fun. Just I can't get too attached to her. I don't know, like I'm not allowing myself, I guess.
Yeah.
Stamina says, agree, Drake. I'm enthused by watching quite a few fighters when they compete, but I don't really do fandom of particularly many. I don't like how it colors my judgment, nor anyone else's. That's very true, Stamina. And I agree with Drake. No, also, I said that.
Yep. Like for example, Charles Oliveira. Like I think I attach myself to the stories more than anything. And man, just like I love his story so much, so much, and just the fighter that he's become. Like oh my god, he is just must see TV. So that was an awesome moment to see that, and I love Michael Chandler as well.
Oh man, I loved how Oliveira ran out of the cage. Like he went straight up to Joe Rogan's face. It was surprise. And then he went to Dana White, and like those are really the moments that, as MMA fans, we strive to see. Like, how can you not like Charles Oliveira after what we saw in the build-up to this fight, and then what happened in the fight? He lost. He was on the losing side, and then he pulled himself all the way up, and he ended up beating Michael Chandler in a fantastic way. And then his story after that, like the way that it all ended. How can you not like Charles Oliveira? How can you not? Tell me, if any of you don't like Charles Oliveira, tell us why you don't like him. I want people to explain to me why you don't like Charles Oliveira.
Because he beat their favorite fighter.
Okay, like that's okay. I mean, my favorite fighter, Shogun Rua, has fucking viciously lost. And there's only
that's why you hate Paul Craig.
That's exactly why. Fuck Paul Craig. I can't stand that motherfucker. And he's fighting on the next card, right? I hope he loses bad. Who's he fighting? Jamal Hill, right?
Yeah.
I'm all the way in on Jamal Hill. All the way in. Because fuck Paul Craig.
Paul Craig.
Damn that bastard.
The Bear Jew. All right. Good stuff, Yusuf. And he's not done yet. He's got true or falses for us now. Man, plenty of good stuff in today's mailbag, huh, you guys? All right, this is a great lineup of true or falses, I would say. So here we go.
Oh,
What?
so we found out his birthday.
Yep.
On his birthday, December 16th, 2021, the strawweight champ will be Chinese.
So when I initially read this, brain went to true, right? And then I thought about it a little bit more, and it really depends, obviously, on kind of which way the UFC goes, but Rose being active, I think that's the biggest thing it hinges on and scares me about. Like, just she hasn't been that active, as much as we would like her to be in recent years. So, like, by that time, like, if her next fight is after December 16th, but still in December, like close out the year, I wouldn't be surprised. That would suck. I don't want that at all to happen, but like, just think about it. She takes a long time between fights, and she seems reinvigorated after this one, but I mean,
yeah, but then they're going to be like, "Hey, Rose, hey, fight this fighter." She's going to be like, "Nah."
Yeah, so
so it's kind of upsetting when you get champions that are going to kind of sit a little bit, and we know that Rose is going to sit a little bit.
right.
So Yusuf is asking by December 16th, a new one. I don't think that Rose even fights before December 16th.
Oh man, that bums me out just to think about. I guess it is possible that doesn't happen, but I'm gonna stay optimistic, and
yeah,
I'm gonna say that she will fight before then, and then obviously there's
in the summer.
Two possible fighters. Yeah, I mean, hopefully September-ish at least. Two possible fighters, Weili and Xiaonan, are the only ones who would possibly fit this bill here of being strawweight champ. Which one remains to be seen, but I'm going to go with true. I'm going to be optimistic, and yeah, I think she'll fight. That's the most optimism, is that she will fight before this date. That's the big question mark, I think, because I don't know. I've obviously, I know that you guys have probably seen that Weili is going to be, she's going to train at the Shanghai PI right now, which I know she doesn't generally do, and so quickly, and she's really wanting to get that rematch back, and
she does.
I mean,
she keeps talking about it.
Yeah, maybe they'll
mentioning it on social media.
Yeah, yep. And again, Ghost points out, well, we all know how the negotiations have been on the strawweight division, and again, like, all three of these fighters around the top right now, Rose, Weili, and Carla, are all managed by the same management, which obviously makes things harder, and surely was a big stalling point there. So it's kind of then up to Xiaonan to break that cycle as a non-sucker punch fighter and make things easier. Maybe we'll see, but I'm gonna stick with the optimism and say true there, and just also me believing in either Weili or Xiaonan against Rose hypothetically. But that's a very good tough true or false though, Yusuf, to kick this off here. So.
Yes. So I'm going false, just because Rose is so damn inactive. It's kind of being realistic about shit.
Yeah.
Her track record, she's so inactive. It sucks. But that's what it is with her. By December 16th, when is the last fight card of the year for UFC? After December 16th, right?
We don't know yet, but I am gonna imagine so. I know that they didn't do. I think the last year's was what, December 12th or something. But
yeah, that's true.
I imagine they'll go out with a later, closer to New Year's one this year.
You would think so, seeing that fans are back in the stadiums and
for sure.
So I think that Rose will probably be on that last card of the year. I just don't see her fighting before that, so I'm going false.
Yeah, totally fair. As
Second
for
question is Yan Xiaonan versus Weili will only happen if it's for a title.
Ooh, that's another good one. That is another good one. And obviously, the right answer here is it should only happen if it's for the title. But
And
as we know,
and in China, it
and
can't
in
be.
China,
It can't be anywhere else other than China. It
right?
can be.
As we know, though, the UFC drops the ball with a lot of things. And my prime example is
Yeah.
always Woodley versus Covington for the title. How did you mess that one up?
Yeah.
So in this case, I think we could see something similar where it is very possible that Xiaonan and Weili does happen, not for the title, but could still be in China as a fight night main event, something like that. I think that we will see this fight happen at some point. I'm going to say false, that it won't only happen if it's for the title, but obviously best case scenario is for the title and in China, and just for the title is also good, but you know that maximizing that possibility, what that looks like. But I think they'll meet at some point. So I'm going to say for it only to happen for the title, that's a false for me.
God, James.
What do you say?
The UFC is dumb as shit and will probably have it in Abu Dhabi.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be such a fucking UFC thing to do when they have this beautiful brand new PI in China. Fucking, they're both Chinese fighters. Like, it's the perfect scenario, right?
Yep. And that's why they
It'll
would
happen.
screw it up.
Why it will happen in Abu Dhabi. But I do think that Xiaonan and Weili will fight eventually. I really hope that it's for a title. I really, really hope that it's for a title. I think that Weili will be champion again. So I'm going yes. True. Xiaonan and Weili will only happen if it's for a title. Will happen, and it will be for a title.
Yeah, I hope that's right. So
Me too.
exciting.
Andrade's next fight is at strawweight. She said that it is, right? She said that she wants to go back down, I think, right?
That's what I've been hearing from my inside sources, and so I'm going to say definitely true on that. It just makes too much sense, and that just sounds like the direction things are headed. So I think that's probably the truest out of all of these. That's a very, very safe bet. So
Yeah, I agree. Tatiana Suarez is the third most dominant female fighter in the UFC. Who were the first two? Nunez and Shevchenko, I guess.
Yeah, it would have to be.
Suarez the third.
I mean, it seems just not fair to say because she's been out.
Yeah, it's tough.
She's been out.
I know you and the rest of us, and I love Tatiana Suarez, adore her, right? And I know you like asking these questions, Yusuf, about Tatiana Suarez, but it's just so hard because we don't know when and if she will ever fight again. We don't know anything. Like, she just keeps getting injured, and so it sucks. It sucks. I think, more than anything, it just sucks because we can all see the potential. We can all see the ceiling with this girl, right? We can all see it. And she's so likable. Man. Yeah, I guess Tatiana Suarez is, when she's fighting, is the third most dominant. I guess so, but it's just getting her in the cage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that's the thing, is if you counter because of the activity or not right now. So it's like both. It's true and it's false, because she's like she hasn't fought recently. So
Right.
but then when you do look at in terms of domination, like that's a solid pick for the third most dominant fighter. Like I'm trying, nobody else is coming right to mind in terms of that kind of dominance.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of dominant fighters. You know, it's not. We're not seeing GSP type fighters right now. We're
Right.
not seeing the Habib fighters right now. Kamaru Usman is the closest to that.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. So, yeah, like I said, I guess if you want to consider her, I guess it would be true, Yusuf, but like, at the same time, she hasn't fought in
It's
almost
just
2 years now.
her fighting, yeah.
So, stamina here.
Stamina says Suarez is one folks believe in strongly, but she's not put together enough of a body of work to sign definitive titles to quite yet, sadly. Yeah. And then Rue also says Suarez isn't fighting soon. When you ask her on Insta, she says she's still injured and can't do live drilling anymore. Yeah, she said it in interviews with Helwani, with James Lynch. She keeps saying it, and like this again, like this is the thing with Tatiana Suarez. We all see the ceiling with this girl. We all want her to fight, but it's just she's injured. Like there's no going around that.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's just kind of where we're at. Just where we're at. So,
Yes, GSP lost to Matt Serra, which was a total fucking fluke, by the way. Because you put GSP and Matt Serra in the cage 10 times out of 10. GSP, I guess, is losing only once.
I mean, we saw that rematch win, and it was quite brutal.
Yeah, he bounced back and became dominant, so we never know. But they fight again, 10 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, GSP's winning that fight.
Indeed. Indeed, he is, because he's the GOAT. All right, good true or falses as always, Yusuf. Good overall questions from
Love
you
it.
there. And about to wrap up here with some Ghost Phantom ones in here. So let's get into it. This one confused me, Ghost. Maybe I'll need some extra clarity from you because this didn't really make sense to me what you were saying, but here we are.
Okay, so why is this always the question media asks whenever a new champ is crowned? Isn't it disrespectful to the new champion? And then the picture that he shows following his win at UFC 262, Charles Oliveira is the #1 lightweight in the world.
So I don't understand how that's.
Question? What's the question that the media is asking to the new champion?
Yeah, because like when you click on his picture here, that's just all it is.
Ghost
but-
Phantom, you're here. What is the question that the media asks? Why do the media always question the legitimacy of the new champions? Gotcha. Why do they question the legitimacy of the new champions? Well, because they're new. We don't know we don't know if the shiny new toy is the legit GSP type or Habib type. We don't know. I'm sure he's been on a massive run, a great run, a fantastic run in the UFC, but he's brand new to us as a champion. We don't know how long it's going to last.
I think that in the case of somebody like Oliveira here specifically, who this is centered around, it is disrespectful to him. And then in turn with his
I
question
think
here,
it's disrespectful to
legitimacy.
anybody, really. But I mean,
Right, but in the case of a guy like Oliveira who's built up this insane resume and
Yeah.
the current winning
Very-
streak that he's
very-
on, like, of course, like look at what he's done. He's the best lightweight in the world now for sure. I mean, look at he's knocking people out. That's not even what he's best at in MMA. Like he's not a striker by trade, and he's looking goddamn good in that area. But as for like, let's say, well, yeah, I was gonna say even if Chandler won, like he's had a phenomenal resume too. Fuck everybody who says that his Bellator career doesn't count. And he's phenomenal. So yeah, if for you to be in that spot of able to be champion, I think you might actually be right, Steve, that like, yeah, it's disrespectful to anybody because you're there for a reason. more often than not, unless you're, being handed it, which we've only seen, it's a small amount of times. There have been some gifted title shots, of course, but for the most part, they're generally pretty well earned. And then you got to think, if that person who didn't deserve it wins, then they kind of proved that they deserved it. So it's kind of weird that way. But yeah, it's
Oh, come on, Yusuf.
I know, I saw that as well.
Oliveira is going to get slept inside 2 rounds by McGregor in December.
How
Stop.
dare you?
Stop it.
McGregor's not even going to make it past his next fight.
Yeah, he's got to fucking beat Poirier to get to this guy. Like it. Oh man, stop it.
But yeah, Ghost, I think it's just like Steve said, also it was just kind of easy to question that and wonder, like, oh, well, how will they deal with the championship pressure now? That kind of thing. Like, it's a new. What's the old phrase that they always say? It's easy to become champion. It's even tough. Or it's hard to become champion. It's even harder to keep yourself as champion, right? To defend the title is even harder.
Yeah.
So maybe it's kind of that line of thinking, I suppose. But
could be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stamina.
Yusuf, go to the corner. Go.
Your timeout.
Can we mute people? Surprise, surprise, the king is back. He went straight up to Joe Rogan and said, "Surprise, surprise."
We could legitimately put him in timeout, but he's not actually causing problems. So we do have that ability, though. We can block people.
On timeout. You're right. I forgot about that. Yusuf,
are you gonna do it? Don't do it.
No. One more outlandish thing from you, Yusuf.
Abuse of power. One more. But yeah, I think that I think we kind of covered that for the most part. Ghost, sorry if not. It's just kind of, how the media is. We talked about it.
We don't like the media around here.
Yeah, I know. We're not always the best. So yeah, and then he had another part here, here we are.
We didn't have any this year, but what situations have to be in place for an interim belt to be on the line?
It's crazy that we haven't had an interim title in a long time. Isn't that weird?
Because we had, what was that? What, 2019?
Yeah.
Was 2019 the year where it was pretty crazy with the interims?
All of them.
Covington, Cejudo, right? Cejudo.
No, those were undisputeds.
What were the
19? Maybe it was 18. I mean, I know it's around that period where things were crazy. Obviously, when Adesanya and Kelvin, and then that's that same card with Holloway and Poirier, where they were both interim titles.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was 2019. I think time just blends together now. Ferguson and Poirier. No, Ferguson and Gaethje. That was interim title too. Right. Generally, in the most ideal of situations, it's when a champion is injured and they're going to be out for a good while. Like, obviously, Sterling's kind of out now for a good bit, but
they should probably do an interim for that one. They should just do Jan and somebody.
Yeah,
because Sterling's not coming back for a while. Sterling isn't coming back for a while, and he won that fight. And as a champion, kind of like on a fluke, So
them's the rules.
Would you be hurt? Like, would you be like, disgruntled if they did the interim for that division? I wouldn't be.
Well, he had neck surgery, right, which is a pretty serious thing.
Very serious.
So,
Tatiana.
Right. I think the most perfect situation we've ever seen of interims is when for Dominic's first run as champion in the UFC. Like, you look at how how long it kind of took him when he was trying to come back. He had fights lined up. It wasn't like one of those things where, all right, they're out for a little bit and we're going to do an interim title. Like, just because of timing and them being impatient, which a lot of the recent interim titles, very unnecessary. Like, even you look at Ferguson and Gaethje, I don't think that even needed to be interim title. But in the case of like Cruz the first time around, when they ended up making that one for Barao and Faber, that was from, he was supposed to defend against Uriah in the trilogy fight at UFC 248, right? Or no, 148, excuse me. That was back then. And just so much time went on and he had to pull out of some that it got to be too much. And then even then, after being, he was champion still, and time went on and on and on, ended up stripping him. But it's just a time thing, I think. And if the champion's legitimately trying to get in there but can't, that's when you probably do it. And you also look at back in the day, you remember Frank Mir when he had the motorcycle accident and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's just unfortunate circumstances that why an interim, like a legitimate interim title, should be up.
Yeah, exactly.
So James asked, why didn't they strip Whaley last year when she was inactive? Because of a global wide pandemic, James. Like, there was literally nothing that she could do about anything that was going on. She was literally in China, the birthplace of this virus that shut down the entire world. Like, there was literally nothing that she could do. It was out of her hands. It had nothing to do with Whaley. Absolutely nothing to do with Whaley. She would have fought. She would have fought before. She would have fought in the summertime. She would have fought in the summertime. She was actually trying to fight in the summertime. They just couldn't get it done. They couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and Makoto kind of highlighted that too. Right there.
Yep. Whaley was actively looking to fight, but the UFC wouldn't give anything because of where she was. It was too hard at that. It was too hard. Okay, so look, we said this over and over and over last year as we kept on doing shows during the pandemic where nothing was going on. We literally said that we were lucky to even get fights.
Yeah.
We were lucky to even get fights. If a champion wasn't fighting like Whaley, then so be it. There was no reason, absolutely no reason to strip Whaley or to put him in interim belt up. That wouldn't have been fair for her. That would have been so unfair.
Yeah. Oh boy, that would have been. Ooh, man, that would have been crazy. Yeah, that whole situation was a mess, and he counterpoints with Yan Xiaonan getting a fight.
Right. I see you. And I was actually going to say that as well, but it's just circumstances. Like the Rose thing, they wanted her to fight Rose, right? Rose wasn't ready. She wasn't taking a fight. Joanna said no to fighting until fans are back in the building. So there's the top two. Whaley wasn't getting fights.
Yep. Just a big old messy mess. So.
Stamina says there were issues getting paperwork done too. So many visa issues that we saw in the UFC this past year, and still going on. That's why all the crap about Carla getting a title shot came up. It wasn't crap, by the way, Stamina. Very deserving.
So, yeah, I mean, interims are crazy. We've actually never had one in a for the women in the UFC.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's we'll see how long that takes if it ever happens. The only time I can remember even we don't see it from the women very often, actually. But I remember Jennifer Maia was originally the interim champ when Barb, or was supposed to be, or something like that. And then Megan also, when she beat Tweet. Very rare, though, in general.
Yeah, we don't see them. We don't see them very often. And I mean, like, I think that was that 1 year was just crazy. They were doing stupid shit. The UFC was doing stupid shit at that time. I mean, they do stupid shit all the time, but like specifically with title belts at that point, they were doing stupid shit with the interim titles at that point.
Yeah, getting a little carried away, but
it was dumb.
All right, we will close up the Twitter mailbag there, you guys. Whole lot of goodness.
Thank you so much, Waleed, Yusuf, Ghost Phantom, and Head of Kick Audio Steve. Thank you so much for getting those questions, and I love them. We love them, especially the crazy outlandish shit from Yusuf. I love it.
No, now we gotta try and breeze through the news a bit here because we do have a good amount of shit to preview.
My goodness.
Fucking A. Gonna be here forever. But all right, let's
we told you before we came on it was a 3-hour show. We're at the halfway mark.
I have an interview at 11, so we're gonna need to be before that. We got some time.
2 hours.
Yeah. But all right. Time for the news and some good bits here. Nothing super crazy, but this first one, didn't see this coming, Steve. So let's start off with the bantamweights.
Yeah, Penny and Alexis Davis are going to go at UFC 263, which is in 2 weeks.
Coming up.
3 weeks, I guess. Good fight. Fun fight. I'm excited to see Penny back in there.
Always good to see Penny. But it's interesting in terms of rankings, fighting down. I mean, we thought with the winning streak she's put together, she wanted Rocky P. Why not give her Rocky P?
Weird, right? You would think that they would, unless if Rocky said no.
Yeah, very, very true. But it should be a fun stylistic matchup. I mean, you don't get much more seasoned than Alexis Davis at bantamweight in 2021. And then Penny's on a roll. So, and of course, Alexis Davis just got back in the win column after coming back after a strange absence, beating Sabina Mazo. Tears for Steve. But here we are now, and she can really get back in the mix if she can knock off Penny. But it's still a good win if Penny can win this, despite it not being as highly ranked of an opponent as she would have wanted. So, I mean, it wouldn't have been the fight I would have made, and as I said, a little bit surprised by it, but I'll take it, and get to see Penny live in Glendale. I'm down for that, and
I like it. I like this fight. I think it'll be a fun matchup.
Yeah, and stamina here.
So Davis is all the way done with 125. I think so, yeah.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. Penny has a chance to shine here. Brand value, if not rank value, with the victory. Yeah, it's not the rank value. She should be going up in ranking, like what Drake was saying. And she wants to. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on. Maybe nobody wants to fight her. Who's ranked higher?
Yeah, very possible. So, looking forward to that one.
It's a good fight. In about a month, less than a month.
Yep, coming on up, and she seems excited for it. It feels like it's been a while since that last fight of hers. But all right, now to strawweight action, and Steve, this one angers me just a little bit, just a little bit.
Ginyu Frey versus Estella Nunez for July 31st, and Drake is mad.
So I'm all for Estella Nunez being in the UFC. Awesome. That's a great addition. Of course, many will remember her probably for getting twistered against Angela Lee. I believe she got twistered against Angela Lee. I know that they fought. I believe she was one of the victims of that. But gosh, man, like, yeah, what the fuck is this? As Ghost says. Why can't we just have some fun, man? Why do we got to make Jin still as the gatekeeper, testing the prospects after she gets her win? That Penne fight was right there, dude. Give me that shit. Former Invicta Atomweight champions. It's too easy. It's too easy, man. Like, I don't know. It annoys me in that way. Like, obviously, this isn't the worst fight to make, but like positionally and like treatment of Jin, it annoys me. I would love to see something purely for fun. Two vets, two former champs, as I said, coming off of wins. You make that happen. You make that happen. Okay, correction. Chuck corrects me. Wasn't a Twister victim. All right, I thought she was one of them. But either way, she was a victim of Angela Lee. But yeah, so I don't know. What do you think about this one?
I think that she's just a gatekeeper at this point, and
It's clearly what they think of her.
I think so. Yeah, I think that that's how they're treating her, and I think that's what she is. If Nunez beats her, then she keeps on going, keeps on fighting. If Jin wins, then she'll fight the next one up.
Yeah, she's gonna have to really, really do some spectacular performances, I suppose. But yeah, man, it was right there. Penne versus Frey was right there. And I know that I'm pretty sure Jessica has a fight booked now. We just don't know who it is yet. But like, dude, like they booking them around each other. And I bet Jessica Penne is gonna be fighting a prospect as well now. Like,
right.
If they're on the same card, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna be so mad. I tell you what, that would not sit well with me. I just want to have some fun. Come on, especially with these fighters who are obviously at the tail ends of their careers. Like, I get it. You do need gatekeepers and stuff, but still, let's have some fun. They've earned it. You can go back to it afterward. So it is what it is, I guess. I'm assuming the train's coming by, Steve. Yep. All right. So that is that for the strawweight bit of news. I don't think there's one more coming up here. But yeah, Sammy, I don't know, man. I don't know. Disrespect. No fun. No fun, dude. Gosh. Hopefully they both win whatever their next fights are, and then maybe we can get it then. But moving up to flyweight now. Former strawweight. Justine Kish is gone.
I think we saw that coming.
So, like, yeah, I guess so, obviously.
Why'd you put that picture up?
Huh?
Why'd you put that picture up?
Is it Quiche?
I don't like it.
I guess Montana. I think that's Montana fight. I mean, it's weird to me. Not weird to me. It makes sense, but it's a bummer because in her recent losses, like they were pretty close. Like the Cortez one, like I said, when it happened, I thought she just edged it. She was doing good against Mazo until she wasn't. Like, it's just been one of those cases with her where, damn, she's just not so close yet so far away. You know what I mean? But yeah, when you just continually can't quite get over that hump and haven't been in the UFC since Tough 20, you guys. Here's a strawweight veteran in the UFC, an OG, helped build the division. And I mean, she's at flyweight now, obviously, but came in. It is what it is. So yeah, we'll see where she lands now. Most likely Invicta, which wouldn't be a bad home for her. I think she would likely go there over Bellator, especially now that Invicta is back in business. So
back in business.
Yeah, curious to see, and we will get to that. Curious to see where she does end up.
Yeah. Friday night, baby.
Friday night, and Stamina pointing out something here. Godinez.
Oh
yeah. Which I guess that should be in the news notes. We can get it out of the way here now, but I didn't put it in because everything got canceled. She was supposed to fight this weekend, filling in for Stephanie Egger against Sarah Alpar at bantamweight. Steve, not happening now. Visa issues. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here we go with visa issues again.
Visa issues, but as Stamina says here, that was a bantamweight fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's That is not. That's far from strawweight.
Fuckery. It's fuckery.
That is fuckery.
I agree with Stamina. UFC be fucking up.
Be fucking up. So I have to wait for Loopy and hopefully in her division next time we see her, as it should be. And James calling for Angela Hill to get cut, and he'll be happy. Ghost agrees. So, keep dreaming, guys. That's all I'll say about that.
Angela ain't going nowhere.
Going anywhere.
She ain't going nowhere.
Unless she's retiring, but yeah.
And even then, you're going to see her in the commentator booth.
Exactly.
On the desk.
So, all right. Sticking with flyweight, we have a fight, actually. Meatball Molly's back, Steve.
Yeah, against Jeon Kim, though. Tough fight. August 14th. I think it's a really good matchup, though.
Stamina. Wow, you dudes are wild hating on Hill. Sammy is not shy about it.
So that's 3 people that we know do not like Angela Hill. James,
I think most of our fellas here.
And Sammy.
Yeah.
I like Hill.
Yeah. But yeah, as for this flyweight matchup, none of this Angela Hill nonsense. I think this should be a pretty fun fight, and man, it's one that it feels a little bit like a must-win for Molly, even though I don't think it is. I don't think it is, but I
don't think so. I mean, they're not going to let her go. There's no way.
No. But Makoto chiming in hard here. Oh man, I love it. But yeah, I don't know. Just you look at when Molly's built up this momentum and then it gets halted when it arguably shouldn't, or you don't expect it to, kind of, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just we'll see. And Ji on Kim, always a very tough out.
I like this fight. Like I'm into it.
Yeah, and I think it's winnable for both of them. It should be stand and bang war for the most part. An excellent usage of nicknames here, Chuck. Will Kim be eating meatball sandwiches, or will McCann get burned by the fire fist? That's the question. That is definitely the question. Remains to be seen. I'm totally fine with this matchmaking, though. I think that'll be big for both of them, and very cool to see, or interesting to see. I think Ji on Kim, I believe it's a new move, but she has been working with Syndicate recently.
Mm-hmm. Syndicate, right.
Good to see down at PI there with Ramona Pascal, JoJo, Roxy, you name it. Everybody down there at Syndicate now. So yeah, let's see if that helps her out. Can't imagine it not. Great group of gals competing there. Stamina.
So they're talking about going to England in this year sometime, right? Stamina, aren't they? Isn't that one of the things that they're saying that they're talking about? But he's saying Jeon could be an issue for Molly. She's a fucking tank. She's
kind of like a better Cachoeira. Is that fair to say? Like very, very tough and walk through your shots.
She's better than Cachoeira for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, yeah, definitely, but I mean, similarly styled. Just
you're right.
Yeah. So, and better takedown defense, obviously. She's better, right? So yeah, it's they were. I mean, it was rumored for London in August, but then Dana, just this past week said, I think they'll stick all fight nights. Yeah, he said all fight nights will probably be in the Apex for the rest of the year, and you would think. They said August. They were looking at London. Darren Till versus Brunson is in August, so that would have been perfect. It would have been perfect to do that fight there, but and I don't think that what is this? August 14th? Is that the same? That's the same event, right? So maybe they'll do it. Who knows? But Dana was saying as we said, they'll probably do all fight nights there, but it makes perfect sense to if you're gonna end up doing a London show, this is the one. This August 14th card for sure. And Stamina, reading my mind there. Here you go, buddy. We'll see. We will see. So, yeah. Either way, Should be a fun matchup, no matter where it takes place. And I mean, obviously, they're both out of the States, but Kim is in the States right now.
Yeah,
So
she's at Syndicate in Vegas.
Yep. Indeed. All right. So that fight came together, I believe, earlier today. And then also today, we got one of the chat's other most favorite fighters. We know that you guys love this gal here. And I don't have a picture for this one, but Cheyenne Baez is back.
Yeah, against Gloria De Paula. Baez just really has to turn it around, right? She can't go 0-2.
No. And very possible against DePaula, I think. Like obviously we saw DePaula came up short in her UFC debut against Jin the last time out, but had her moments on the feet. Particularly was able to land some good shots, just couldn't quite hang on the ground, and we'll see if Baez can replicate that a little bit, but don't quite know. And yep. Everybody, here they come. Rue, not happy. And James, come on, cut that girl after she goes 0-2. So it is yeah, I think it's good matchmaking though. You know, they both lost their UFC debuts in quite convincing fashion.
It's a good fight.
Stylistically, it's solid. Yeah. And Sammy chiming in as well.
You guys are on one today. Like fucking Stamina said, you guys are on one, dude. Like, I like it. I'm here for it. I'm here for your shit. But you guys are definitely on one. And
so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I do give DePaul the early edge. Yep, I'll follow you home, bitch. Another timeless utterance. Stamina says. Goes here. Oh, maybe she can defend it.
Maybe she can defend it. The arm and throw, and that she was prepared for. Yep, she prepared for it very, very well. Yeah. And then Chuck said Baez got signed too early, like most Dana White Contender Series fighters. That's the one bad thing about the Contender Series. Like, we all love the Contender Series, right? I mean, Tuesday night fights and stuff. Fun shit. But then we see them fight other fighters who are maybe a little bit better than them. Just because they get a contract doesn't mean they're UFC ready, and we're actually seeing that.
Yeah, very much so. Just casual hating. Buys. Big facts. Chuck says he doesn't hate her, but she irked him from her EFC days with the unearned arrogance. Yeah. It's, got to do what you got to do, I guess. That's the best way to look at it. And see if she can do that. Get that first UFC win here against Gloria De Paula on July 31st. So, all right. Let's get out of the news. We got a shit ton of previews, you guys, here to get through. Plenty of fights. Do our best here. Hitting the 2-hour mark. Thank you so much for staying with us. A consistent number of you guys hanging around, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You didn't all leave when we talked about WWE stuff and John Cena.
They actually
so that's
did,
great.
and then they came back.
He came back. All right, we'll wait for this to ride out. They're going to go on their tangent. But all right, you guys, we got 3 events this weekend. Big ones. Title on the line. 3 titles are actually on the line. Holy shit. Contender fights. Man, there is a lot of action. So we're starting off with Bellator, yo. Let's get into it, Steve.
Yeah, so we got Leah Mcquart versus Janae Harding, friend of the show, Janae Harding. This is actually a really fun fight. We talked about this when they said it, they announced it. Both highly marketable fighters from Bellator. I'm surprised that they're matching them up against each other, but I think Janae wanted to fight. Leah Mcquart clearly wanted to fight. She was already in the States. She was doing all the stuff for Bellator as far as on TV stuff. So, I mean, she was already there. She wanted to fight, I guess. Janae was itching to get back into the cage. She has a tough one against Liam McCourt, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You mentioned Leah needing a fight. Surprisingly, they put them up against each other. Leah, though, it's no more playing around with her. We got to throw her in against somebody who is a notable fighter, somebody that you can climb against, because the fighters that she's been fighting so far, if we're going to be completely honest, it's like nobody that's going to help you make a run. And she's just still 4-1 in her career. But Judith Ruiz, Carrie Hughes here, we can see the records. And of course, Manon Fiorot, who is a great flyweight fighter, and that was a very close competitive fight. Actually, that's how good Manon is, able to be competitive with a featherweight. That fight was at, I want to say, like 140, but either way, this is a competition step up for Janae, who's been fighting plenty of notable people as of late throughout, her whole Bellator career, honestly, if we're going to be completely honest. And stylistically, I think that it is one where Leah, we know generally that she's most comfortable on the ground, no matter who it's against. And against Janae, we've seen that, of course, she's a striker by trade, but her grappling is getting better and has gotten better. Most notably, I always look back at that Marina Mcquart win, which she got in 2 fights ago. Really surprised there and was able to hang on the ground with a very lethal Mcquart win. Things do go to the ground, and so good improvements there. But then afterwards, obviously had that real back and forth kind of crazy Amanda Bell fight where it was like 10-8s for each of them, and then Janae kind of gassed out in the third. And I believe it was the third one. We just had it right there. Was it round 3? Doesn't say. But either way, yeah, back and forth all over the place. Kind of just an odd one. And then, she rebounds again against Jessie Mille, and which is, that was a very good win to get after that loss to Amanda Bell. Janae is continually improving everywhere, I think. And with Leah, it's like, it's hard to assess. We go back to what I said earlier about when you look at the grand scheme of things and the Lipsky-Shevchenko fight, for example, and then kind of Mizani and Ostovich. Look at the whole picture, whereas, it's similar here where, yes, Leah has looked very good, but look at who it's been good against, so level of competition-wise, Janae's fought the better competition. And so it's tough. It's going to tell us a lot about where Leah McCourt is and how far that she can, not how far she can go, but this is a good test for her. And it's interesting, Steve, that I think it's pretty safe to say, and a little bit unfortunate though, that we know who Bellator wants to win this fight. If you've been paying attention to their marketing and promotion of this fight, they very clearly want Leah McCourt to win this fight.
I mean, like I said, when we introduced this fight, she's part of the desk. Like, she's part of the Bellator desk. Yeah. So she is obviously liked by Bellator, but that sucks for Janae because she's kind of proving herself to be worthy of title contention at this point.
I mean, she's been in Bellator for a good while now too, and it's like, obviously she's a company woman, I think is fair to say. She just kind of goes with the flow and all that.
No, yeah, she's been
easygoing person.
Yeah, she's been very. I mean, she's clearly stated that she wants to fight, but I mean, she's been understanding of situations and stuff.
Right.
But did she get what she deserved by all of the video packages and stuff? No, she didn't.
Well, dude, I mean, Janae's ranked higher in the rankings, and they still put her in the blue corner.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of silly.
Pretty crazy. Who do you have winning this fight?
So I'm gonna continue kind of to ether what I have kind of the whole show, this episode in particular. But if you just look at competition wise, who they fought, Janae's fought the better people, and obviously she kind of gets some momentum and hasn't really been able to hold on to it for a good while, as you just look at her last 5 fights right there. But as she continues just to have more time in MMA, because I think that's been very crucial for her career, where she kind of jumped in to not the deep end necessarily, but a deeper end than generally people will early on. Um, so I think time has just been the best thing for her, and we kind of saw it in that last time out, which was a very solid performance against uh, Melee. And now taking on Leah Mcquart, who is a much bigger test, I think, for Leah in terms of telling us where she is. And
Yeah.
we know that she needs to get the fight to the ground, because on the feet, I think she's going to have some pretty serious trouble. Janae doesn't generally come in like off point with her striking. It
No.
comes down to if
Follow
she can,
point.
yeah, if she can defend takedowns for the most part and not tire out maybe if somebody's really grinding on you. But I don't know if Leah will be able to do that necessarily, especially when it comes to closing the distance and that kind of thing. So if you just look at it on paper, I think it's hard for me not to go with Janae when she's just fought better competition and is gradually showing a much better overall game.
Yeah.
Because Leah's pretty much just been a grappler, at least from what we've seen in these 5 fights in her career so far. And I know it was a while ago now, but she did struggle against a pretty small man of Fura in comparison, who's a flyweight, like I said. So I think Janae will end up pulling this one off. I don't know about finish, because Leah is pretty tough, but I think that
Very tough.
she should pretty comfortably be able to just land better shots the entire fight over the course of 3 rounds and pick up a unanimous decision, keep Leah off of her for the most part.
Yeah, I'm with that. I do think that Janae probably wins the fight. I think that I think Leah will have good moments. I think Janae will have better moments because of her striking abilities. She's tough. She's a hard hitter. She's durable. It's just that Leah Mcquart is very tough and hard to finish. Janae has it in her, though. She's crazy strong, man. And her striking is phenomenal. So I do think that Janae probably wins the fight by decision. I hope that she's able to get a finish in this fight.
That'll be
So,
big for her, especially
just
when they're
to
putting
prove
the
a point.
eggs in the other basket.
Prove a
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I think it's just to prove a point. I really hope that Janae gets a finish this week. I did reach out to Janae. I wished her good luck. She's I I talk to her. I talk to her often. So I hope that she wins. I really do. Like, I really want her to win this fight. I feel like that she's been kind of overlooked in this fight for some reason. I don't know, like, why Bellator is doing what they're doing with it. It's weird, um, especially when they have rankings now. Like, it's like, why would you
Yeah.
do that? You would think that they would want Janae to keep climbing. She's only 26.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
It's interesting.
she's from New Zealand. She's that Australian base. Like, you would think that they would want her to do well, and like show her on her motorcycle, and like, show her doing, her workouts and stuff. She has tremendous workouts. Like, it's crazy, but everything's about Leah Mcquart when it comes to this fight. I hope that Janae puts an end to this shit and the shenanigans from Bellator.
Well, Steve, who's also going to be trying to do the same thing is one Hannah Guy.
Yeah. Most marketable fighter of the year, Valerie Lareda, returns to the cage against Hannah Guy. That's a terrible picture of Hannah Guy.
I like how each of their pictures, it's a fight, mid-fight punch picture, and then the weigh-in picture there.
That's such a bad fight or bad picture of Hannah Guy. 2-1 against 3-0. I don't know. I think I don't have much. I mean, there isn't much to this fight, really. They want Valerie Laredo to win. Bellator
Of
wants Laredo
course.
to win this fight.
Did you see their poster that they did for this fucking fight? It was
Yeah.
just Loretta.
Wild. Like,
Ay.
it's just wild, man. Kind of want Hannah Guy to win. You know, like, you know,
Yeah.
end the madness. I mean, I'm fine with Laredo or whatever. Like, keep on going or whatever. I'm good with it, but kind of want Hannah Guy to stop the madness a little bit.
It's just, man, from a rankings perspective, it drives me fucking insane. Like the fact that she's above Porto makes me very angry.
Drake, that's fucking ridiculous. Come on.
I know. And
Like,
Absuragova's in there too now, which
number 15 or no,
she's 10, which
10.
is
Yeah, they do 10.
come on.
Yeah, 3-0, 1 win in Bellator, 29-second win or whatever it was. Is it rankable? Nah, it's not.
Yeah.
But that just shows you where Bellator's head is when it comes to the rankings. Like, we talk shit about the UFC rankings. We kind of got to talk shit about Bellator's rankings when it comes to these girls.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's a good point, Sammy. As long as there's justice for Kana, I mean, I guess can't be too mad. But no, it drives me nuts. Stamina here.
I'm just saying he can't muster the energy to give even a fracture of a fuck about Laredo yet. He just doesn't care. Nothing to see for him.
Yeah, there we go. See where JHK put him on the spot there. But so for this fight, obviously we're in that. Yeah, we're in that stage still with Valerie Laredo. Similar to, I think, I guess maybe Yankova. You guys remember Anastasia Yankova, where it was very clear that they're bringing in people that Laredo should be able to beat, and that's the same here with Guy. And of course, you can only do that for so long. And I do think from the bits I have seen of Hannah Guy's fights, I actually wanted to do more thorough rewatching of her fights before today, but just been too busy and all that. She does have a chance, I think, at winning this, as has everybody who's fought Laredo so far. And as we mentioned the last time we talked about her, which I don't know, was that 2-3 weeks ago? Like, her performances have not been that great. Like, she's still obviously very, very green. Her finishes that she ends up getting just wipes away everybody's memory of what happened before. Like,
well,
she
finishes and her ass picks.
That as well. Yeah, she's very good at making you not think about her fighting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, and again about the rankings, it's a weird thing when you put somebody who's in this spot in the rankings, because then you would imagine, if the Bellator is to follow suit, that they're going to, presumably now that they have rankings, they will end up unintentionally or intentionally, I guess, rushing this person. Let's imagine, you guys. Let's think for a moment. We're talking about Kana. This is Kana's division. This is Kana's world, and we're just living in it. If they put Kana against Valerie Laredo, it would be a goddamn massacre. But they're only 6 spots away from each other.
I don't think that they would do
lunacy,
to be honest.
Right, if they're smart. But see, that's the problem you get put into when these fucking bullshit rankings are around. You know, and then everyone's like, well, look at where they are. Why aren't they fighting numbers? Because that's how rankings should work.
That's how
rankings
should work. But that's not even how rankings work in any other promotion either.
Right.
I mean, the rankings are shit. They don't mean anything at all. And any promotion, it doesn't matter. Rankings don't matter. It's a marketing ploy. They don't mean shit.
Yeah, it's very sad. Very sad, because I really do love me some good rankings, but,
Yeah, I mean, good rankings, sure. Like, Tapology rankings make sense. the promotion rankings don't make sense because they have a bias. There's a clear bias with them.
Agreed. But just in the meantime, let's give some kind of love as we do. So, what are our official picks here, Steve?
Well, I mean, fuck. It's going to be an okay fight all the way up until the end where Laredo pulls something out of her fat ass.
Yeah, probably. And I have a feeling that Guy will probably do pretty well and maybe even get her to the ground as she needs to do. But yeah, I don't know. As it should be. That's right. These fights are made for one person in particular. So yeah, Valerie Laredo. I'm going to say decision this time, though. I'm just going to be that way. I don't think she'll finish her.
I mean, we haven't seen anything like worth talking about Valerie Laredo about, like other than a flash finish against not great opponents.
Yeah. So it's like another case too where this fight's not going to tell us much. So I'm just going to keep pulling up Kana pictures. Man. So she's the real winner. That's all that matters. So watch the chat go crazy with just a pick of Kana. I know, and the crowd goes wild. Should just have her on the entire time. Oh, we got to upgrade here. Get the scrap to upgrade, and we can just make Kana our background. You see how we have the leaves in the background? How perfect would that be, you guys?
That would be fun.
Fantastic. But, all right, Steve and I, same side for both of the first two Bellator fights as we move on here.
And I'm pretty sure that we'll be...
Yep, on all three, actually. So,
yeah.
Sorry, Kana. We got to move on from you for now. All right. Here we are, Steve, the main event.
How badly does Chris Cyborg beat Leslie Smith? And how fast?
Oh, we're going this route again. Fair enough. Totally fair. Okay, let's see. I was goddamn 2 seconds off last time. So with this one, Rue likes the idea. We'll work on it. Well, let's see. How quickly did she beat her the first time? That's what we should look at here. I'm going to open this here. See how quickly Cyborg beat Smith the first time. Just out of curiosity. It was very quick, right? So I'm going too far. There we are. 121. Oh, would you look at that? 121. Will it be quicker? Will it be longer? So the thing about Cyborg over the years, and specifically since getting to the UFC, which was with this exact fight, she became a lot more patient, right? Like pre-UFC Cyborg, she was just kind of all over the place, blitz you, destroy your face right off pretty quickly. And despite the fact that this win here against Smith was pretty quick, she showed a new calculated approach, showed the same thing against Landsberg, Evinger, Holly, obviously. Pretty much every single fight after this, well, the Yana one, she kind of rushed into that one as well, even though it was longer than I remembered it being. She got wild against Nunez, obviously, which was a mistake. But every single one of these fights since the Leslie Smith fight, Cyborg showed a newfound kind of patience, and she continues to show that now. So with that in mind, she's still going to knock Leslie Smith's face off probably, but is it going to be quicker than the first time? I don't think so. I don't think so because Leslie Smith obviously felt that the first time, and she isn't going to want to fight the same way that she did that first time.
There's no way that she does.
So I'm going to say 327 TKO.
Wow.
Around there. So about double that time, right? Roughly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that Leslie Smith is better than we're giving her credit. I think.
Indeed, but she's going against Cyborg, and she didn't necessarily earn this fight exactly, but it is what
No,
it
I
is.
mean I agree with that. We talked about Kat Zingano or whoever else, Julia Budd maybe again.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think Smith does enough to get out of the first round, and then the second round there's going to be trouble.
No, yeah.
Cyborg wins in
Stamina,
the second
not a
round.
fan.
Yeah, I mean it's just horrible. Like we've seen we've seen in this division with Zingano and Julia Budd, and then now Cyborg and Smith. Like it's just bad. Like these are not good fights to make.
Yeah.
Nobody's hyped for this fight. Absolutely nobody is hyped for this fight. The only people that are hyped for this fight are Cyborg fans. But I mean, they'll follow her anywhere, so it doesn't matter who she fights.
Right. Yep, yep. James just said it right there. Not bad. Cyborg fan. Very
Yeah, I mean,
true.
that's literally it. Cyborg fans are very happy with this fight because their girl gets another fucking win. I mean, it keeps on rolling. But I mean, that doesn't do anything for the division. Here we are again with the fucking division, the same division, which we said was better than the UFC's division. But here we are again with Chris Cyborg and Leslie Smith.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just been obviously some very boneheaded matchmaking from Bellator in the featherweight division recently, as we've saw with those last two Bud and Zingano fights. Clearly, even though one of them ended up being interesting.
Yeah.
And Ghost Phantom kind of thinking along the same lines, pretty close to mine there, giving Smith a little bit more time. Cyborg takes her time, 356 TKO in round one. But and Stamina saying he's arguably a Cyborg fan, but it's still dog shit. So not even all Cyborg fans. Yeah, arguably.
He doesn't even know if he's a Cyborg fan or not. He's arguably a Cyborg
fan. But yeah. So Steve taking the second round. I got the first round. Either way, not a chance this goes to a decision.
I'm giving Leslie Smith a little bit of credit, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, it is definitely too bad we can't have a unification featherweight title fight, says Ghost.
So too bad. It's so too bad.
Gosh.
Like, oh.
Yeah, so.
Fucking division.
Mismanaged.
Like by everybody. By everybody. It doesn't even matter. Like what promotion you go to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So that is Bellator 259, except though, Chuck, I do see you, and good that you pointed that out. I actually did remember. We also have what weight class is that fight at? That's a flyweight fight.
Flyweight. Yeah.
Sumiko Inaba versus Christina Katsikis. Yeah, just didn't add it to the preview because, well, I at least didn't do my proper prep for this. I remember seeing Sumiko's debut, but it's been a while, right? So I don't remember it at all. So I would have liked to do. I'm not a person who's gonna, fake it to you guys and pretend like I know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm not fully up to date and remembering things properly. So, Steve, if you have a quick pick or you're in the same boat, because I know we've seen at least Sumiko's debut.
Yeah.
So, but that is one to check out. Definitely, that'll be one of the first fights, I believe, on the card, you guys. So, check it out. Some good prospects, but nothing too deep for us at the moment. So, is what it is. We're not gonna, be some jokesters out here for you. Yeah.
Nope.
So, Bellator 259 should
be. We can recap it if it's good.
Yes, of course, always. All right, so, man, we still have 2 shows left.
Invicta and UFC.
239 mark. It is time for the return
I told you.
of Invicta. Yeah, I know you did. So here we go. Let's get into it. Invicta 44. It is time. Access TV, the new era. We got it. We got it. What, five fights? I know the card lost a bit. Here we are. I got it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights actually.
Oh, 6. They added one.
Yeah. This one came up late. The Yandoli fight.
Yep. That came up yesterday or the day before?
Yeah, very recently, I think. But either way, of course, we're most excited for these top 3. And Invicta always has some, good early prospect beginner kind of fights thrown on there. And, Juliana Miller and Guthrie have been in Invicta previously. So, there's still obviously prospect range with only few fights. But, we've seen them in Invicta before. But anyway, Steve, let's start from the top, work our way down. That's usually how we've done Invicta in the past. So we got to figure it out here.
Yeah, so Karina Rodriguez versus Diana Turcado for the vacant flyweight title. It's a good fight. I'm kind of bummed that Zapatello is not the headliner. I think that's stupid. I don't understand it, but here we are. I'm fine with Rodriguez and Turcado. Should be a good fight. They're both incredibly fun to watch.
Yes, they are, and I do agree that it's odd that Zapatella, who is actually the champion, isn't headlining over a vacant title fight. Of course, Rodriguez is one of the bigger names in Invicta left around right now who hasn't gone anywhere else yet, and is always pretty fun to watch. And taking on Diana Turcado here, yeah, this should be a pretty good, interesting matchup. And I think honestly, it is one that kind of favors Karina. And shameless plug, I did speak with Karina and was planning to drop that interview today, you guys, but YouTube really fucked me and it said that my processing got abandoned, so I gotta re-upload and all that shit. Really annoying. Hoping to have it out tomorrow. Of course, we'll get it out before, I know, right? How dare they get it out before this fight. But Karina, very excited to get back in there. Hasn't fought since that Porto loss in 2019, which was her last title fight, but she missed weight. So couldn't win the title. Wasn't for the title, obviously. Here she is again, kicking off the new era, and I think it's a favorable matchup for her, and she's excited for it as well because she feels the same way. She's kind of that matador fighter, especially when it's against a bull, who I think Turcado has got that kind of in-your-face pressure she will be bringing. And so I think that alone favors Karina. We've seen her do pretty well in those situations in the past. Of course, the Deanna Bennett fights, and yes, she did lose one of them, which was big-time robbery, I think. But Lobo Gym fighters, they all move well. They all box very well. That's just fact with all of them. No different for Karina Rodriguez, who is always in great shape, even if she comes in, missing weight like she did last time. But, here she is, title on the line. I don't think she'll make that mistake twice. Big deal. Yeah, can't do that. Big deal. Opening up the Access era, the new era for Invicta. I just think that if she can work with Turcado's pressure, which is going to be coming at her, she'll be just fine, be able to land off the back foot, counter all the strikes that will be brought. Just the pressure, Bull and Matador. That's how I expect this one to kind of look, and she'll be fending off takedowns if necessary. I don't think she'll try to take it there. She never generally does. So, I do favor Karina, and over 5 rounds, I think the longer it goes on, should have the better cardio, especially just considering how Turcado fights. But secret weapon, maybe, you guys. Marina Rodriguez is going to be in her corner.
Yes, she is.
That's a pretty good person to train with, and of course, you want to replicate that style as best you can, and which I think she probably will, as we're talking about here. But against Karina, somebody who I think can hang in that situation. So it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be really interesting. But again, also if you look at experience and who they've kind of fought throughout their careers, kind of lean a little bit towards one of Mexico's finest again. So I think, this could be the crowning moment for Karina. You know, she's been in Invicta for a good while now, getting this big opportunity again. And I don't know if I see a stoppage, though, for either. Could be invigorated by this moment, and there will be no fans, but still, big moment for everybody involved. I'm going to go with Karina by a unanimous decision, I think. 5 rounds of fun, kicking off the first main event of the new Invicta era. And we got another train, Steve. Are you frozen?
Yep.
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Losing you a bit, maybe?
I'm back now, I guess. Karina, I do think that Karina does well. She's a hard hitter, but Torquato is very good. I want to see if Torquato slows things down a little bit, doesn't rush too much into Rodriguez.
Yeah.
If she does, then I mean Rodriguez could probably end the fight. Torquato needs to slow it down. Needs to slow it down. Keep her own pace. She has what it takes to beat Rodriguez, but like you were saying, Rodriguez is very good. Her striking is phenomenal. She is obviously at a Lobo gym, one of the best gyms in the world as far as MMA boxing goes. Do they get a champion? Probably. I'm actually going to go Torquato, though. I think that she gets it done. I don't know. I really like that. I really like that girl. I don't know what it is. Like she's good. She's a very solid fighter. Yeah,
good team to be with.
Yeah. I think that she wins decision. I think we're both going decision, just the other way of each other, opposite sides this time around.
You know, it's interesting that right when you said that about Lobo Gym and kind of Karina and maybe becoming champion, like they actually haven't, in terms of the women, you know, you look at Aldana and Grasso, they never won Invicta titles, you know, haven't become UFC champions yet. It's like crazy to think about. You feel like they would have. Obviously, Aldana had her opportunity against Evinger when she was really sick that one time, but yeah, weird to think that this could be the first time. So
yeah,
we will see.
Bring that first title to Lobo Gym, women's title in the Lobo Gym.
Right, Diego Lopez killing it right now. That guy needs to get signed for sure in the UFC.
Weird, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Ghost asking here, does Diana have the skills to leg kick Rodriguez? Rodriguez does put a lot of weight on that lead leg.
She does have the skill. She's a very good fighter.
Yeah.
We'll just see. We'll see how it goes. We haven't seen either of them in so long. That's why it's weird that this is even the main event when they have Alicia Zapatella, such a good champion to have. Like, why wouldn't they market that as their title fight? You know, I don't know. Their headliner.
And when she won was not the last Invicta event, but the one before that. So, I mean, you know, recent in terms of last Invicta events. So
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, as for the Atomweight title fight, Alicia Zapatella versus Jessica Del Boni. Steve, I know who you're going with here.
Always.
Tell me why.
Always going with the wrestler, man. little firecracker. Alicia Zapatella is man. love this girl. She's exciting to watch. Um, Obviously needs to make improvements on her fucking kids. Fuck them kids. You hear it?
Fuck them kids. Yeah.
Um, Alicia Zapatella, she obviously has improvements that she needs to make. We saw against Lindsay Van Zant.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, is Del Boni better than her? I don't think she's better than her. Can Del Boni rock her? She can rock her.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's so interesting with Alicia Zapatella for me because I know you're very much on that train, and for a good reason. But
Dude, it's the wrestling for me. It's the
yeah,
wrestling. It's always going to be the wrestling for me.
I mean that's clearly her strength, and that's the thing is like she's still got a lot of work to do, I think, despite being champion. But that's how good her wrestling is, that it's been good enough to carry her to this title. And she got a gosh darn Von Flue choke against Ashley Cummins, who's a veteran and no joke getting that one.
Yeah, where did that come from? Like
yeah, but
she's
like
actually obviously doing work. It's just
yeah, her just the striking still needs to be worked on, and we saw that against Lindsay Van Zant and even Ashley Cummins, who was doing pretty well up until that point. I believe I did have it 2-1, 2-1 for Cummins going into that fourth round. Pretty competitive fight, and great point by Chuck here, where he says if Del Boni has worked on her jab and takedown defense, she'll take it. Yeah, I mean, I remember that too from Cummins, and more so. Excuse me. Oh, more so Cummins than Lindsay Van Zant, but that jab was just finding a home anytime Cummins wanted it on Zapatella. Like, just her striking is a lot. When you weigh out the scale of things, it's a lot different there. Del Boni, though, I think a question mark or a point of intrigue about this whole matchup is, of course, everybody's going to be bigger than Zapatella for the most part. She's half pint for a reason. Not a chance that she would do well at strawweight, pretty much based off solely her size. But yeah, Del Boni's last two fights have not been at atomweight. Her last fight at atomweight was against Lindsay Van Zant as well. But Herrica Tiburcio, who she got the win against, coming back. Tiburcio was coming back in her last fight. Also strawweight. She hasn't been at atomweight since 2019 was when the Van Zant was. So see if she can, if that time away will play a factor, if she can make the cut well, and we'll see how the weight stuff goes, because you never know. But I think that it pretty much comes down to what Chuck actually said. If she can, of course, defend the takedown. That's more of the thing for me. If you defend the takedown against Zapatella, you should mostly be pretty all right, unless
it could be, but it's very hard to defend it.
Yeah, especially as time goes on.
She's
5 rounds here.
She's a grinder, man.
But I think for the most part, I think a lot of people should be able to outstrike Zapatella, at least from what we've seen recently.
Absolutely.
But again, man, like, no matter how bleak it might have been looking, like I thought it was against Cummins, she still found a way to win, and that's a big deal. And she's only lost to 2 very solid fighters, Kana Asakura, of course, and that was a fight where she had pretty good success in, but got dominated late, as it happens. Kind of gave it up, she admitted that. And then Viviane Pereira, that one, also no shame in that one. That's kind of been the thing too. We remember talking about the mentality against Lindsay, and where, all right, I knew I was up, so I coasted in the 3rd round. They can see the scores here in Invicta. You got to remember that. So
I really hated that from her, though. Like, I mean, I really like her as a fighter. Obviously, her wrestling is superb, but I really didn't like that she admitted that she coasted for the last couple of rounds. Like, it's not what we want to hear when we're watching you fight. You know, like we don't want to hear you're coasting.
Sounds like Chukagian, Steve.
There's a definite difference between them.
I know.
Caucasian will never be champion. Zapatella is a champion.
Oh man. Hey, you gotta admire the confidence from her too when she's always
Yeah,
tweeting that she's the best atom weight in the world, which is just
I love that. Like,
objectively not true.
I've literally told her I love that from her with the Rihanna Queen. Yeah. But like, I love that from her. But that only gets you so far.
Yeah.
I guess. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
in a fight, eventually she's gonna find a striker who's gonna tag her, and it's gonna be trouble if she doesn't work on that a little bit more. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, I think a Lindsey Van Zant rematch would be very interesting too. You know, I mean, see if that happens at some point. But I mean, even Del Boney here has definitely the striking chops to put it on her a bit. But
but does that happen?
Yeah, that's just as I said about the Cummins fight, when I thought that she was kind of not looking so good, she still found a way, and I think it might be similar to that. You know, maybe a little bit of a comeback I could see where maybe Del Boney fades a little bit late and then gets caught in like a rear naked. So I kind of feel like that's what we could see. And, you know, with that cut after the time away, maybe playing a part.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take Half Pint to get her first title defense by 5th round sub. That's what I'm going to go with officially.
Okay. Yeah. I have Zapatella winning by. I think they'll go to the championship rounds. 4th round, I'll go 4th round submission. I don't think that I think Del Boney, if she wins, it'll be early. If they go anywhere past 3, if they go into the 4th and 5th rounds, Zapatella is going to win. Her grinding is just phenomenal. She's a really good grinder. Really tough to beat.
Yep, so we will find out. And before we move on here, Makoto, I do see you asking here, interesting question. How would Whaley have done in Invicta in the 2016-2017 era? So, I don't quite remember exactly who all was in Invicta during that exact period, but that'd probably be an important thing to look at. So I'm gonna just say, without looking, that she'd probably do, you know, pretty well, of course. But let's see, 2016, 2017. If I look at who were the last strawweight champions, obviously BVB won the tournament. Verna was the champ for a bit. Who was before Verna, Steve? Help me out here. I don't remember. Oh, I just had it. I don't know. Verna, though, versus Whaley around that time would have been pretty interesting. I mean, that would still be interesting.
Verna, I think.
Yeah, I know. I think it was about 2018 when she was champ. But it was before her. Help me out, you guys. I mean, yeah, she would have, of course, done good. You know, of course she would have done good. Champion, very possible. I know around that time, though, Whaley was supposed to fight in Ryzen against Kanako, you guys. So maybe that would have been 2018 as well. But either way, of course, Whaley would have done good no matter where she is. But there were some definitely very tough champions and fighters hanging around, as there usually is in Invicta during that time. And it's going to kill me not remembering who was before Verna. Maybe I'm just going to look it up real quick. Invicta FC list of champions. Let's see. Hold on. All right. There was another question here. Apologies, everybody. Or at least comments. Makoto. Oh, they're talking to each other. I can't find it. All right. Anyways, Juliana Miller versus Claire Guthrie. You guys. Steve, how do you feel about this one? We don't have to do a big old breakdown for the rest of this card, as we got to get out of here at some point, right? Still got 3 more UFC fights, but I really do like Miller versus Guthrie. I like what I've seen from Juliana Miller. Looks like, of course, she trains with Alima. Great killer instinct shown in her first 2 fights. Claire Guthrie, though,
She's
pretty
tough.
Pretty tough, yeah.
Who are you going with? Guthrie? Miller? Miller because of the jiu-jitsu?
I mean, that's the thing, is that Guthrie, good wrestler. We've seen that, been able to kind of smother people a bit in the fights that she has had, but it's easy to get caught that way, especially against somebody who has been as lethal and kind of crafty and just long. Juliana Miller's got a very long frame to her, and then, great jiu-jitsu training with Alima and them, as mentioned. So, yeah, I think Miller will catch her at some point, 3 rounds, good amount of time. She's going to get taken down, but that jiu-jitsu has been looking legit, man. So,
Yep.
I take Killer Miller.
Yeah, I'm going Guthrie because of the wrestling.
Okay, all right, I like it. I have nothing against Guthrie either, but
yeah, I mean, it's
jiu-jitsu.
I don't know. It's jiu-jitsu versus wrestling, and of course, I'm going to go with the wrestler. I'll always go with the wrestler.
Of course, can't not. And Stamina says he's blanking as well.
I think we all are, dude. Yeah, I think we're all ashamed.
I used to have a list here. I don't know. It's going to be somebody totally obvious, too. Like, oh, man. Oh, well. Where you at, Chuck? I know you probably got this ready for us. But, all right. So, rest of the card, we got Josie Stortson, Maria Jose Favela, Fatima Klein, Ariana Melendez, Elise Bonet, and Chrissy Andoli. Those fights are there to get things rolling. Will probably be fun. Invicta is always fun. Newfound motivation for everybody. Don't have official picks for these gals, but we will recap it, of course. We got UFC to get to, you guys. Good golly. Longest episode ever. That's big 50 for you, right? This is perfect. Big number 50. All right. Let's move along. Actually, we just have 2 fights. I forgot because that one got canceled. The Alpar fight got canceled. So that's right. So kicking things off then for UFC Vegas 27 is a good featherweight fight. Now that somebody's gone, somebody's out of the picture. Let's get into it.
Felicia Spencer and Norma Dumont. We just heard about this last week, and here we are with them fighting this week. Pretty fun fight, to be honest. I'm good with it. I think that Spencer probably wins. I mean, she should win this fight, but Dumont is tough. Spencer's just a fucking monster, man. Spencer's a beast. I think that she's hungry. I think she's hungry to get back to that title shot.
I mean, yeah, you would hope so. And crazy, man. I feel like it feels like she had a fight in between them, but the Nunez fight was almost a year ago now. How crazy is that? Like, that's insane to think about, that massacre. But yeah, here we are. Norma Dumont coming in for Danielle Wolf. What a much better fight this is. I mean, any fight would have been better, as we said last week as well. Yeah, I like this a lot, man. I clearly, it appears I'm higher on Norma Dumont than a lot of people are, when the Bea Malecki fight was made, and everybody was like, yeah, it's whatever. I'm like, yeah. Okay, all right. I think Norma Dumont's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, no, she's good.
So here we are, and she's back at featherweight now for this fight. At least, she's had some good weight issues or bad weight issues with as tried and true, one of the best featherweights in the world.
Okay.
But Steve, here's a good question, and I think we can ask the chat as well. Will a beating as brutal as that one against Nunez have changed her? Because you don't see those kind of beatings very often.
Oh man,
You know?
maybe, but I guess Norma Dumont will find out, which is, I think, bad for her. I don't think so. I think that Felicia Spencer's a top level fighter where she'll be okay, and it's been enough time now where she's in between fights. It's not like she bounced back.
Yeah, true. Very true. Yeah, nearly a year, as I said.
Yeah. There's enough time in between to where she'll be all right. I think. Feel bad for Norma Dumont though. She might find out.
Yeah, that goes said right there. We're about to find out. And does short notice favor advantage for Norma?
I don't think that it favors Norma. No.
Yeah, I think it's kind of equal in this case. She was already in the States from coming there for what was supposed to be the last fight against Blanchfield.
Oh yeah.
For Dumont.
Yeah.
Yusuf saying she absorbed everything like a sponge. I mean, sponges absorb things good, and I don't know if she definitely took it, but
yeah, that was a beating though, man.
yeah. But the time though, as everybody's mentioned here, and as you mentioned, taking the time, very good idea, definitely from that kind of fight.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
you know, maybe not by choice because this isn't a division really, but yeah, I think that, as you can see too, it's good to see that the odds makers actually are. I mean, that's a solid size favorite, but it's closer than you might expect. It's for Norma Dumont, who
At least
I'm
they got it
sure.
right.
Yeah, exactly. Who they don't surely know too much about still,
Yeah,
regardless.
they probably don't.
But
They just know that Felicia Spencer was in a fight against Amanda Nunez.
right, exactly. So, gosh, I don't know. I think that I think short notice might actually. I'm going to lean a little bit towards Norma in that case. And on the feet, I think the fight should be pretty competitive. Who hits harder? Who is more of a finisher on the feet? I think that Norma will be favored in that area. Felicia, of course, she is a Taekwondo black belt, but we've seen her best work is always on the ground. When she gets on top of you, it's pretty difficult to handle. Norma does have solid BJJ as well, so I'm very curious to see the fight play out in that area, as I'm sure that it will, as Felicia will have a size advantage, even though Norma's a decent sized featherweight, but can fight at bantamweight. Whenever you can fight at bantamweight and you fight at featherweight, you're probably going to be outsized against an actual featherweight. So it just depends, I think, if Norma can survive on the ground, which I think she will be able to. And she might even thrive a little bit and surprise people. And you know what, man? I'm going to get crazy. I think we're going to see the upset here. Going to get the upset. Norma Dumont is going to find a submission in the first or second round. And she's going to do just fine on the feet. It's going to be pretty competitive on the feet. I think she's going to land some big shots to get the commentators going like, oh no, Felicia's might be in trouble here. But then she'll get taken down or something, and she'll catch an armbar or something, man. I just got a feeling this is a great position for her to go from, losing her fight in a terrible situation where she missed weight badly and didn't even fight at all. And now door opens, capitalize on this. See where it puts you. So I'm gonna go Brazil on this one. I am.
Okay. I'm not. I think that Felicia Spencer is the better fighter out of the two. I think that she'll be all right coming off of that loss to Amanda Nunez, who everybody loses to anyway. Do I think that it changes her a little bit? Maybe a little bit, but I think that it's been enough time in between to where she'll be okay. She's a championship fighter. She's championship material. I think that she puts it on Dumont. I think that she gets the finish in round number 2.
All right, there we go. Finishes in both directions there, and maybe it's just episode 50 stamina. I'm feeling crazy today. Let's get crazy. It's a 3-hour episode. What more do you want from me? You want some hot takes, don't you? So we'll see. But he also points out about the beatings.
Beatings change everyone to an extent, but she's taken plenty of headrest since. Plus, nobody else is capable of putting a comparable beating on her as her last 2 fights. Reckon she'll be I.
Very true. Very true. So,
Yep.
all right. That is that. Featherweight action.
That is
Plenty
that.
of featherweight stuff. And now it is on to the main event of the evening. The most important fight of the weekend. The clash of the 2 best women on the planet.
Look at that. We're at the 3-hour mark, and here we go.
Here we go.
Our 2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
Going
Strawweight title eliminator.
Yan Xiaonan versus former champion Carla Esparza.
Cookie Monster versus the Fury.
It's gonna be a really good fight.
I am hyped, man. I feel like it's not actually this week. You know, I feel like it's we're not talking about this enough. What is wrong with people?
Is this on the main card?
Yeah, it's a co-main.
It's the co-main?
Yeah.
Okay. Good for them.
Should be the fucking main. The people's main event.
What is the main event this weekend? I don't even know. Is it Font and Garbrandt?
Yeah, it is.
Damn, dude. I'm like out of it right now. Like after last week's card, I'm fucking not even giving a shit about this.
Not even present.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Man, Garbrandt and Font. That's gonna be crazy. But yeah, Xiaonan and Esparza. Oh man, let's go with Esparza. Let's fucking go. Wrestle. Let's show that wrestling. Fuck. Let's go.
So that's the thing, right? And I mean, it's
mad, Carla. Make people mad. Show yourself. Champion Carla back.
I will be upset. What do we got on the odds here? Xiaonan is favored 155.
It's close.
Quite close though. My plus 134, the former champ, as you said. So
she's a former champion. Twice, so close.
Yeah, as it generally does in Carla Esparza matchups, comes down to whether or not Carla can get the takedown. Now, her striking over time has gotten a lot better than people will give her credit for.
It's getting there. I mean, it's not gonna. Look, she is who she is as a fighter, right?
Yes.
Now,
but my point is, ever since you remember right after the Joanna fight, and I mean during the Joanna fight, she became just afraid of striking, and we saw it in her fight afterwards against Juliana Lima. And there was that brief period where you're like, man, she is just horrified of striking now. There was that for a little bit, and then she kind of got more comfortable again, eased into it, and we've seen that since then. Where, okay, she's back to being a serviceable striker as she was before that, because she outboxed Jessica Penne, I think, in that entire fight that they had in on The Ultimate Fighter, and even before The Ultimate Fighter and stuff. But at this level where there's all these elite strikers around you, every matchup, you look at the Marina Rodriguez one, we knew the story was if she gets her down, if she can't get her down, she is fucked. If she can get her down, it's going to be very interesting. Same thing here. Yan Xiaonan absolutely should be able to style on Carla, put on a clinic, as Yusuf said. And the thing is, though, she's probably going to get taken down. So how does she react to that? How does she handle that consistent takedown threat that Carla will present? She's going to have a size advantage, all these things in her favor while the fight is on the feet. It's just a matter of how she reacts to that continual pressure. That's pretty much just how it is with Carla Esparza fights. And yes, Makoto does point out a good fight. Not just elite fighters, strikers necessarily, but fighters that are good everywhere in the top 4. Yeah, very, very true.
Yep.
So, and as we do look back at that Claudia Gadelia fight again with Zhao Nan's last fight, looked in the best shape of her life, packed on didn't pack on muscle, but you could see clear new definition where she was pretty ripped in that one and defended well against Gadelia, who is, of course, always a good grappler in her own right. If she can show the same improvements, I mean, yeah, not the same as Carla, okay? That was from training at Team Alpha Male as well, which I don't believe she trained with them for this camp, but has been, doing some work in Vegas, just at the PI and whatnot. So, if she can kind of build off of that performance, which I'm sure she has and will, it'll be harder and harder to take her down. And that's a good thing for her going forward. I think she knows that, especially in a matchup like this. Very smart fighter. And that's how she approached the Gadelia fight. So should be interesting. And obviously, you guys, you know that Steve and I are split on this one before we even get to the official pick. So we know where we're going on this one. And people are asking, we got Yusuf here asking, why doesn't Jan get finishes, as she doesn't have a finish in the UFC yet? Sammy rooting for Zhao Nan. Stamina says Jan gets reckless at times, power is nothing without control. Very true. But also, if you look back in that fight against Claudia, like I'm mentioning here, she was a lot less reckless, and I think it was because of that takedown threat. So I think she should be pretty on point here, with that in the back of her mind consistently, and it'll work out in her favor. Ghost pointing out Zhao Nan did stay comfortable on bottom against Gadelia, but improved as the fight went on. Yep, very true. I just think she's getting better and better, man. It's just been the story of her career. I love me some Yan Zhao Nan.
Carla's getting better and better too.
Yep, very obviously. 4-5 winning streak, champ on her way back to a title shot. But it ends now. Yan Zhao Nan. I don't think she'll get a finish because Carla, as she's very, very tough and only been finished by Joanna, right? In the last forever. So just very hard to finish her. Not that Zhao Nan can't do that. I think she definitely can, but yeah, it's just that's to predict that is like a harder thing than imagining it. Like, just be safe. And I'll go a unanimous decision. I think she'll be able to make it clear enough, but of course I do think Carla will have some success, but just the style of the striker that she's going against is, I mean, unlike anybody that Carla's fought, really. Like, you look at the Marina fight, like, Marina and Zhao Nan, obviously incredible strikers, but they're very different, which is what is so great about strawweight. You have, Joanna, Weili, Rose, Zhao Nan, Marina, all fantastic strikers, but they're all pretty different. I think the most comparable would be, if you were to compare groups, of course, Marina and Joanna to each other, and then Zhao Nan and Weili, and then Rose is kind of boxery-ish with some kicks and mixed in like that. But yeah, so essentially, of course, I'm riding the Yan Zhao Nan train all the way to the top. I've been here since the beginning. I ain't getting off now. Unanimous for me. How do you see it, Steve? How does Carla win for you?
Carla wins by a decision. She's again a grinder. The wrestler, she doesn't really have a whole ton of striking, but she'll go for those takedowns, and she'll ground and pound. And she grinds and makes it tough fights for her opponents. I don't see why she wouldn't do it against Zhao Nan. She has that wrestler mentality. She always has. She always will. It's just who she is. That's why she became a champion. That's why she's close to getting another title fight. She's being talked about fighting Rose Namajunas or even Weili prior to Rose Namajunas, for a reason. She's on a 4-fight win streak. She's a former champion. She's very good. Still very good. 33 years old, but it seems a little bit older just because she's been around for so long. I think that Carla wins by decision.
There we go. There we are. Are you guys really surprised?
Most of y'all are gonna pick Yan Jianan, which is fine. I don't blame you at all for picking Jianan. That's probably the smart pick. I'm going all heart, man, all heart with this pick of Carla Esparza. I hope that she wins. I hope that she gets back to a title fight.
It'd be a wild story. That is for sure.
It would be a really great story for her if she's able to get even back to a title fight. And if she beats Jianan, why not put her in the title fight?
No.
They were talking about putting her in already. So, I mean,
yeah, this is clearly a title eliminator. So,
yeah. You know that the EFC's watching this like, oh man, what we could have had.
I know. Which is funny because like in this situation, are they actually rooting for Carla for that rematch story? Because I mean, that's a great story. That's a great story with Rose.
It's a really good story. Yeah, I'm rooting for it for sure. You would think right now the UFC's like, all right, Jan, put you to the side a little bit, you know? If Weili was champion, then maybe they would be like, all right, we got to push this girl. We really want her to win. For Chinese fighter versus Chinese fighter fight, you know? But now that Weili's not champion, unfortunately, I think that they're hoping Carla wins. And so am I. I'm finally taking the side of the UFC.
Wow. For episode 50. Can you guys believe it? He's going to the dark side.
I know. Gifted. Carla's streak is a sham. It's gifted. It shouldn't exist. It says gifted, not in a good way.
Now, I think that would be fine with me. I mean, of course, if that was to be Jianan, that would suck.
Not if it's Jianan.
Yeah, that would suck for that to happen in that circumstance.
It can't.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of just ranking logic and all that, that wouldn't be terrible. But there's other options, you know, like Marina Weili would be sweet.
Yes, that's really a fight that I want to see. And then you have Joanna too.
Yeah. So, all right, you guys. Well, there we go. That is UFC Vegas 27, Invicta FC 44, Bellator 259. Holy shit, there's a lot of fights this week, but they're all going to be so good. I'm sure that we're going to have to watch Invicta and Bellator at the same time, but I'm not 100% sure yet.
Yeah,
haven't checked times on that.
But that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, so we'll see. But either way, plenty of great action. Cannot wait for that fight we just talked about. Excited for Spencer and Dumont as well. Mcquart and Harding will be good. See if Laredo can keep on doing Laredo stuff. And then we're getting a new champion no matter what. A new flyweight champion, Invicta, no matter what. It's gonna be fun for you guys. So,
guys, what do we think of Brian Ortega and Tracy Cortez being a hot couple? Just playing. I don't give a fuck.
Follow us, like, share, and subscribe, you guys, at Drake Riggs _, at Steve K _MMA, at The Scrap News, at, what was it, the Stockton Slap 209. What is it? Oh, you don't have a handle for the website, do you? But go to the website anyway. Yeah, so go to the website, Steve. Any stuff coming out?
Steve's been there. Steve's been to the website.
Steve has been to the website, you guys. Can you believe it?
You guys go to the website.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of it, anything new coming out, buddy? What do you got for us?
Yeah, I have an article coming out, I guess this week sometime. I don't know. I mean, I really should get it out because I've been writing it. Interviews, still waiting on this promotion. The PR people taking a little bit of time, but it's all right. It's coming, I guess, at some point. Once I do think that once it gets going, it's gonna get going hard. It's just waiting for them to give me times with the fighters and stuff. But I really want to just start.
Well, can't wait for that. And as for me, you guys,
Drake.
As for moi,
I saw a Wana interview.
I did speak with Joanna. That was on Friday. No, Thursday. Friday. Yeah, it was Thursday. But that is out now, you guys. You can go check that out on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Drake Riggs. Talked all about a lot of things, actually. We covered a whole lot of ground. Yeah, I can't really pinpoint a couple things, but it was really fun. She's always very fun and happy to talk to. Very enjoyable conversation. She's very funny. Check that out if you haven't yet.
She has a really good sense of humor.
Yeah, definitely. So there's that, and I have that Shinju Eclair one, which came out last week as well. Another person who's always very fun to talk to, great personality. And then, as I mentioned, Karina Rodriguez was supposed to come out today, but YouTube stupid issues. So hopefully, I'm gonna get it out tomorrow. I'm gonna do everything in my power to get that out tomorrow. A very good conversation with her as well. Going into this title fight. Also spoke to Ariane Carnelossi on. That was Friday. Good conversation with her as well. She's still in Jacksonville because she fought Liang Na with a herniated disc, you guys. So kind of crazy considering everything she had to go through, and hearing about that sounds painful. So caught up with her. Yeah, no good. Caught up with some other people as well, but they're going to stay a secret because Broaden Horizon Episode 8 production going down now, in the works. Gonna plan on having that out for next week. Gonna be talking to a guest here in an hour. That's what I was hinting at earlier. So Broaden Horizon Episode 8 looking to be a good one. Two women involved with MMA, and then I'll leave it at that. I was gonna say more, but we'll leave it at that. Gonna be a good episode, you guys. So tune in for that when it comes out, Broaden Horizon. And could be forgetting stuff, but you all know where to find it on the Twitters as is. So appreciate you so much. And yes, goddamn right, I am Rue. 3-0 undefeated, undisputed over here. BTL champ. All right, what an episode 50 it has been, you guys. I need a break before that interview. Get some food in me and whatnot. Steve, roll us out of here.
Thank you to everybody who watches us on a weekly basis. Thank you to everybody who comes in and chats with us live. Stamina, Ghost Phantom, Sammy, Makoto, Yusuf, Ru, James, Chuck. Am I missing anybody? I don't know. I'm sorry if I am. And to whomever else watches us.
James.
Or does it? I said James. Whoever.
Sammy.
I
never hear.
Stamina goes. Thank you guys again. Because Drake's like fucking delirious right now. Thank you to everybody who watches us on a weekly basis. We really do appreciate you. Without you, there is no us, and I really mean that. We really mean that. Until next week, have fun watching the fights. Let's go, Carla. Let's fucking go.